Hello, 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 and welcome to a very special episode of Nothing Zilch Nada. We are your hosts, Jacob Green,
And Xavier Dean.
and today this is another edition of our Pokemon tier list, or as we're calling it, what a ranking, since we plan on doing other rankings in the future. But
hmm
since last year, during our second season, we started ranking each generation of Pokemon, starting with Gen 1, and we did Gen 2, and now we're moving on to Gen 3. And I I'm sure Xavier's also excited, but I am particularly excited to do this because um while I do have a lot of respect for Gen 1 and Gen 2, um, especially growing up with like the anime and the trading cards and whatnot, when it comes to the games, this is my generation. This is where I got started. And you hear a lot of people talking about Ruby and Sapphire and particularly Emerald for a lot of different things. And Ruby was like my very first Pokemon game, one of my very first games that I've played, period. And there's just so much that I love about the third generation. It was the first generation where we had a battle frontier, where we got double battles.
hmm
Um, and we got all we got a region where there's like a lot of water. There's like this climate environmental message throughout like all of the Pokemon and all the regions that you travel. It was actually the very first region to have not only its first traversable volcano but also a desert. So that's pretty cool.
hmm
Um, but as we've said through previous tier lists, there are the Pokemon games, and then there's the actual Pokemon that are part of the game themselves. So, I mean, just like with all of our other ones, we'll be ranking these based off of primarily by design. Uh, some of it will be personal taste. All of this is just our personal opinions. This isn't like a competitive ranking or anything. You want to see who's the strongest or the weakest overall Pokemon, just go to a Smogon competitive tier list. Or
hmm
just look up Cerebi or Bulbapedia. They'll give you your answers. Nah.
All
But
right.
before we get started, Xavier, do you have anything you want to say about the third generation?
I would say the third generation, that was the first generation that I would say I got started, like heavily started in. That was the
Mhm.
generation of Pokemon cards I started collecting. I watched a lot of the Pokemon anime from this generation. I want to say when I was younger, this was the generation I could have told you more Pokemon from than the other generations.
Yeah. Um, oh, and this is also the generation, I think this is the generation my brother got started on too, despite him being born in like the mid 90s, when Pokemon was having its first boom in the United States and over in Japan too. Um, but yeah, I remember like playing through Ruby, uh, and just loving the game and just playing it over and over until I got a new Pokemon game. Oh, also, this is my favorite generation, soundtrack wise too. I love the Hoenn game soundtracks.
Mhm.
Anyways,
All right.
with that
And
out of the
before,
way,
hold on, one more thing before. I do have a list of where we're currently at with our rankings.
mm-hmm,
So up to this video, we have 37 Pokemon on S tier. Got 21 for Kanto and 16 for Johto, or 21 for Gen 1, 16 for Gen 2.
mm-hmm,
We've got 82 A tier with 53 in Kanto and 29 on Johto. We have 92 in B tier, 55 in Kanto and 37 in Johto. We've got 32 in C tier, 19 in Kanto, 13 in Johto. We've got 8 in D tier, 3 in Kanto, 5 in Johto. And as of right now, zero in F tier. Partially because we didn't really start in F tier, and partially because last one I said we should take it out because there wasn't really a need for an F tier. Although Jake
Yeah.
insists there needs to be an F tier for this one.
We'll see. We'll see. If I feel like there won't be a use for the F tier when we get to it, we'll get to it. Although I don't know about Xavier, but I will say when it comes to this generation, these are some of my favorite all-time Pokemon in this generation. And the starters being one of them. So let's start off this discussion with Trico. So
All right.
I really like Trico. I think he continues the trend of a really good uh grass starter first stage.
Mm-hmm.
And by that I mean I think he deserves an A. I mean I like that this is specifically based on a gecko. And the Hoenn region, the Hoenn region as a whole, its theme is about like environmentalism and about like the changing climates and all the different biomes of the region. So I think Trico kind of represents like tropical rainforests,
Yes.
or just forests specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this is a personal thing, but every time I see Trico, I know he's not supposed to be a frog, but like he reminds me of the Rainforest Cafe frog a little bit.
I can see that. Maybe make the
Yeah,
eyes red, but I can see that.
yeah. So what do you think, Xavier? What do you think of Trico?
I will agree with A tier. I feel like that is a solid design. I don't have any problems with Trico. He doesn't owe me any money like some of the Pokemon on this list. So we're good.
Yeah. Now, so far when it comes to these rankings, we haven't come across many middle stage starters that we consider to be like good designs. A lot of them are pretty awkward. I think the only exceptions were like Quilava and Wartortle. Uh,
I think
but
so.
Grovyle, I think this is like the very first middle stage that actually looks sick.
Yep. I would make the argument that Grovyle should be in S tier. I love
I
the
and
arms. I love that little extended leaf on the back of the head. Plus, a key memory in for me with Grovyle was Ash's Grovyle always had a little weed poking out of his mouth.
it's a twig.
It's a twig. Well, regardless,
Eh,
there was something in it. It made it look cool.
Yeah, he actually had that since he was a Trico. That was a part of his like thing, the distinction between Ash's Trico versus every other Trico. And when it
Hmm.
evolved into a Grovyle, it was a Grovyle for a long time throughout the generation before it evolved into a Sceptile.
Hmm.
But before we get to that, just to go over the design, I like how agile this one looks.
Yes.
Like this looks like someone that can run pretty fast. I love the leaf blades. I love the long leaf blade kind of acting like it's hair. Um,
Hmm.
it just goes around very well.
Yeah.
Um, Now, Sceptile, there is an argument to be made that Sceptile is not as cool as Grovyle. And
Hmm.
this isn't coming from me. This is coming from other people that think that Grovyle is a way better design than Sceptile. And I think the big knock against it is the fact that it doesn't have the cool leaf blade on its head anymore. However, I'll make the argument that it has this sick pine. I don't know if it's supposed to be a tree or a bush, but it's got this pine tail that's just so sick and cool. And it's still got the leaf blades. It's meshed it to its like
Yeah.
pale green skin now, but I still think it looks pretty cool. And I like the yellow bumps that it
Hmm.
has, kind of acting like bombs in a way. But
All
what do
right.
you think?
Well, first, I think that the tail is a tree because if it were a bush, it would be in the front. Okay, so to my serious ranking, I I like parts of the design. I like the fact that it loses that little leaf blade on the head. Not a big fan of the head shape, but that's just because you go from round to now pointy.
Hmm.
I'm
Oh,
also gonna go and say you know, you lose that sleek design, like the sleek and agile design from Grovile, and with Sceptile. Trying to think of the words. He doesn't look like he can be, or he doesn't look like he would be as fast. He looks like he still had leg day, but now just doesn't do the cardio for it.
yeah. I don't know. I kind of like the head shape. I kind of like that it has like the pointed edges. I think it gives them a more distinct look. Um, like you look by its silhouette and it's just like, oh yeah, that's Sceptile.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm being kind of biased because I won't mind putting this in A, but I want to argue for an S because I get the fact that it loses some features, but I think it has enough going for it for S tier.
I would be fine putting it at S tier, but as like a low S.
Okay, yeah. And again, I'm being kind of biased, but yeah. But to me, this is one of my favorite grass starters next to Venusaur.
Mhm.
I think it looks very cool. I will say the whole thing about the Sceptile line, the other two starters have a very cool dual typing, uh, but Sceptile doesn't get anything. It gets a
No.
dual typing when it Mega Evolves in Gen 6 with the Dragon type, but again, that's a Mega Evolution thing. That's really it.
Oh.
But besides that, I still think this is a really cool grass starter overall. Uh, Moving on to the fire starter, Torchic. I think Torchic is pretty cute.
Yes, Torchic is really cute. And you could tell it's
Yeah,
supposed to be a chicken.
yeah. Also, I can't help thinking about the fact of that meme now. Actually, it comes from an episode of the Hoenn anime where May, the character that has a Torchic as her partner, is thinking, I wonder how my Torchic is gonna evolve. And it's just Torchic super buff with like a full-on chest and abs. But someone added a voice clip as a joke where it goes like Torchic time.
uh,
But I say I want to give it A.
I'd be down with giving that one an A.
Yeah, because like I love the orange color. I like
Hmm.
the feathers up top. I think it's just a little cute Pokemon.
Yes.
Okay, Kabuskin. Uh, I
I
like. Go ahead.
so I'd be fine with giving this one an A. You know, I understand where it's going with it. I get the slight change in color. I like that it's adding that extra detail, showing that it is growing.
Mhm.
And it looks a teenager's like a teenager who's starting to get into all the fighting.
Yeah,
So
I actually want to make the argument for B because like I think there are aspects to Kabuskin that are cool, but I'm not a big fan of the whole like body proportions. Um, personally, uh, but I don't mind giving this an A too. I don't think it's
I would
that.
I'd say my counter to Blaziken's proportions is it's still a chicken. So it's got the chicken proportions.
Mhm. You're
Like
talking about
you could take Combustion's leg off and grill it and it is still or it still look like a chicken leg. So that's my thing with the uh
are you saying you want to eat Kabuskin?
I mean it could be preheated chicken.
Okay. I think just for that I'll give it an A. I think it's all right.
All right.
Um, but Blaziken though.
Oh, Blaziken's an easy S tier.
Yeah, like um So this is the cool thing about Hoenn. So this is another region like Kanto where its very first gym is a rock gym.
Hmm.
But unlike last time where it's just like, oh, you pick the grass starter, it's easy. You pick the water starter, it's easy. You pick the fire starter, good luck. They actually make it they actually have Torchic evolve a little bit earlier than the other two, so that way it could gain its fighting type. That way it has an advantage of fighting against the rock type gym leader. So I think that's a smart move to do.
Yeah.
But Blaziken in particular, I think he evolves from Fire Chicken to Fire Hawk. And sure, like it doesn't have like the aspects of a hawk, it doesn't have wings, but it's got the talon like hands. It's got like the red mask with the
Mhm.
beak sticking out. It's
Yeah.
just so cool. Now I also understand that there are people that straight up do not like this Pokemon whatsoever. There are people that do not like Blaziken for its design. And I can understand that, but I'm also we're being very biased. I really, for me, I
Jake's
really
being
like
really
Blaziken.
biased.
Yes.
I'm just stating
Um,
facts. The fact is, Blaziken's an S tier, because if I say otherwise, he's gonna kick my ass.
mhm. Yeah. This also started the trend of like for a while, this was Game Freak's favorite typing combo of firefighting for the starters.
Hmm.
Um, so we'll be seeing that trend. But as of now, with Blaziken, this is really cool. Now we get to my boy. We get to my boy, one of my boys, Mudkip.
All right. So you're gonna hate me, but whatever tier you're gonna say Mudkip goes
Mm-hmm.
into,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make the argument that it goes one tier lower because of personal experience.
Are you saying that it should be an A tier?
I will make the argument of A tier if your argument was gonna be S tier. And
I want to.
it's got nothing to do with design, it's got nothing to do
Mhm,
with power or anything else.
mhm.
So for those of you who don't know, I play Pokemon Go. And
Okay.
when I started Pokemon Go, I was working at Subway and I was working the night shift, so I would show up so early, I would I wouldn't be able to clock in. So instead, what I would do is
Mhm,
I would walk around the building.
mhm,
We were at a big plaza, so one lap was about a quarter of a mile. Well, on my walk one day, I hop onto Pokemon Go and I
mhm,
noticed there's a bunch of Mudkips. There were a bunch of blue ones, there were a bunch of pink ones. And for the longest time, I just thought they were two separate kinds of Mudkip. I wasn't aware that the pink ones were shiny until I transferred all of them but one. Because I'm like, I only need one pink Mudkip. So,
mhm,
because Mudkip didn't bother telling me that its shiny was pink, I will make the
mhm.
argument right here.
I can see the argument there. If we're talking about design still, I there's a couple of reasons I would want to put in S tier. First of all, memes. Like so far, like some of the Pokemon that we put in S tier through like the other generations, part of it is because of meme status. And
Yes.
Mudkip is no exception. The "Do you like Mudkips" meme is like one of the most popular Pokemon memes out there. Um, but I think it's a really different water design. I like the blue color
Hmm.
that's different from like the other starting blue starters, and I like the orange fins. Also, the other reason I want to put it in S tier is that it will continue the trend of the first water starter stage being an S tier because so far we've put Squirtle up there, we've put Totodile up there, and I think my kids should also deserve it.
Damn it. I was going to keep the argument for A tier. But since we have the opportunity to make our own meme out of this,
Mm-hmm.
keep it at S tier.
Yeah, because I know for future water starters, I'm not gonna hold them to the same regard, but as of right now, I would like my boy.
Well, see, the thing
Uh,
is, now I'm gonna fight extra hard for those ones that you don't want to put on S tier, so that they can get on S tier for the meme.
we'll get to it when we get to it.
We will.
Okay. Mhm.
Ugh.
Marsh Stomp.
All right,
Marsh Stomp.
you ready to hear my argument?
Yeah, lay it on me.
Okay, I feel like Marsh Stomp should be at B tier.
I am perfectly okay with that.
You're perfectly okay with that? My big thing is where all the other starter Pokemon middle stages, they make some understanding growth from the starter to the final evolution,
Mm-hmm.
at least in terms of attitude wise. Marshtomp
Mm-hmm.
is not that. Marshtomp is still childish. Plus, I want to point out Marshtomp is the only Pokemon in that line that is a different shade of blue than the other two.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this shade of blue because it's different from Mudkip and then Swampert when we get to it.
Mhm.
Um,
That see,
I mean,
that's my main argument. It's you have a Pokemon that shifts blues for one stage and then goes back to the regular or to its original blue color.
yeah,
I'm just
I think the strengths that hold it for me though, I mean, it's not my favorite, but
Hmm.
like I like how some of the aspects of the design carry over to its final stage because you see it starts getting the orange eyes. It's got the darker colored fins, um, and it still keeps like the orange fins. So I think for my reasons it should still be in B tier. It's not my favorite,
That's
especially when
fine.
it comes to these mill stage starters. I think this is the weakest one.
Hmm.
But oh, also it's another water ground type which carries over to the final stage.
Yep.
Um,
Like I
speaking
said,
of
for
which,
me, based on the color that based on the color of the Pokemon and the attitude of the Pokemon, I can't bring it past a B tier. So I'd say B tier is the right place for it.
now I said that Mudkip is my boy, but this is my true boy right here. It's my true boy,
Hmm.
and I want to make the argument for S.
Don't make the argument. Just put it in S tier because I was going to make the exact same argument. And we've
Okay, so I'm biased because this was like my very first starter Pokemon, and not only for the fact that it developed my love for the water typing, but for water ground types in general. And this is like one of the best starters to use in Hoenn because it just does so well competitively.
hmm
Not well competitively, but also like just in a playthrough game. Because like this could be your surf user, you could put
hmm
earthquake on this, you could put ice beam. Like
hmm
this is a very great Pokemon overall for utility reasons. But
Yep.
also like if I were to ever go to a competitive scene, I would make sure my boy is one of them.
Yes,
Um
I agree. For the longest time on Pokemon Go, whenever I needed a good water type Pokemon to fight, Swampert was my go-to until I was able to Mega Evolve Gyarados.
yeah, yeah. But overall, this is my favorite generation of starters. Like
Mhm.
there may be like a couple duds, but compared to like the other starters from the previous generations, like I just feel like this trio is just so well rounded overall. Like man, like when the final evolutions, like this is a balanced group of Chads right here.
Yep.
Okay, we're done gushing about the starters. Now we're moving on to the other ones. This is where our true ranking comes to the test. Okay, Poochyena. I really like Poochyena. I
Yeah.
think this is. I don't know. Is this the? No, this isn't the first dog Pokemon because we
No,
had
because we had Houndour in earlier.
and, and Growlithe.
And Growlithe.
Growlithe. Yeah, but this is a dark type. This is a dark type. It
Mhm.
kind of reminds me of my dog, if you remember my dog,
I do
Xavier.
remember your dog.
This is kind of her when she was a puppy,
Mhm.
you know, except not having black fur. Well, actually, no, not true. She did have black fur, but she also had brown as
Yeah,
well. But I want to give Poochyena a B.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, I think Poochyena is a good old B. I think
Hmm.
it's a cute little dog, also kind of fierce looking too.
Yeah.
Mighty Anna, I think I think Mighty Anna is pretty cool.
Yes,
I
I
think
would agree with that.
I would think either A or B for
I would
Mighty
say
Anna.
because of the slick black fur on the back,
Mhm.
I'd put it on A tier. I mean, there's
Sure.
more than just that, but yeah, I I think it's just a really cool design.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool dog Pokemon. This is one that you see the evil teams in the game use. There are like two evil teams depending on which game you play, Team Magma and Team Aqua, which means
Yep.
they have a lot of fire and water types. But this is always every grunt has a Poochyena or a Mightyena in their team. Um, Continuing on with our early route Pokemon, we've got Zigzagoon and Linoon.
S
I
tier for
really like
Zigzagoon.
S tier for Zigzagoon. I'd be okay with that, actually.
This is my
Now,
bias because one of my favorite animals is a raccoon. Zigzagoon is a raccoon. I will fight for Zigzagoon 9 times out of 10.
yeah, I will make the argument that the regional variants of Zigzagoon and Linoon, I think are way better, but that wouldn't be
Yeah.
possible if we didn't get this one. I
Mm.
also really like in the 3D models that Zigzagoon runs in zigzags and Linoon runs in straight lines,
Yep.
which I think is really cool. Speaking of Linoon, though, um, I don't think it's as strong as
No,
Zigzagoon, but I would like I say either A or B
I'd be
for
fine with
Linoon.
A tier. And so I know how in our last tier list, I think I made the argument between Sentret and Furret being completely separate because they aren't the same. With
Mm-hmm.
Linoon and Zigzagoon, they make the exception because although they're different, there's still enough similarities between the two where it's not too drastic of a change. Whereas Sentret was around Tanuki going to a ferret, which was a ferret, having a
Mm-hmm.
completely different body style, body shape, that caused a big downward. Whereas here, it's still the body shape. You've got the long, elongated body, you've got a tail, head, and four legs on the ground.
Yeah. No, I really like Linoon. In fact, I like both of these because I think they're some of the strongest rodents that we've gotten uh
Hmm.
in this generation and overall because this is a recurring trend through every generation. There's going to be some type of rodent, there's going to be some type of early route bugs or birds or whatever. But these are really cool and I really like them.
Hmm.
Wormhole.
I like Wormpull. Like, don't get me wrong, Wormpull's pretty much just a caterpillar, but it's one of those hairy caterpillars.
Yeah, I think it has a unique enough design from
It has
Caterpie.
it has so much of a unique design. In fact, I would argue that I prefer this design over Caterpie's design.
Fair enough. You think it should be B,
I'm fine with B.
or
I
would you rather have it in C?
If the options are B and C, I'd say B. I would make the argument for A, but I also understand the B part.
Yeah, B for bug.
Yep.
B for bug. B for I can't come up with B. I can't say beautiful bug because I don't think Whirlpool's like the most beautiful looking one out there. Although that actually is fitting for this evolution in particular.
Mhm.
Silcoon.
Okay.
Uh, I think Silcoon's got a pretty unique enough design. A design quirk of this in Cascoon that I didn't notice until the 3D game started coming out is that these streams actually come in and out.
Hmm.
Like when they're like not attacking, they're just like little balls of like string. But like when they start attacking, their spines come out. In fact, let's rank both Silcoon and Cascoon because they're pretty similar apart from the eyes.
Hmm. So, because of the eyes, I feel like Cascoon is a little better of a design than Silcoon.
Okay.
But that's because I'm a nerd, and when I look
Mhm.
at Cascoon's eyes, I immediately think of General Grievous.
I can see it. I can see that.
It's to a
So
point where I was debating on making a meme where it's Silcoon is Obi-Wan Kenobi and Cascoon is General Grievous, and they recreate.
so so where do you think Silcoon should go?
Um, with how unique the design is, because I like the design a lot.
I like it too. I like it too.
I would like to make the argument of B tier for that.
B tier? Okay.
I like to make the
Uh,
argument.
and then Cascoon. Where would Cascoon go?
I'd be fine
'Cause
with B tier with Cascoon as well, because they're similar
okay.
enough. I like how the I
No.
like it. I like it. But I like how they're similar, but at the same time, you can tell there's a difference with the eyes, with the shade of the silk.
Mhm. I like how this branch of evolution works where like the I can't remember if it's like a male or female situation when you get a wormhole. Um I think it's if you get a female one, you get a silcoon, and if you get a male one, you get a cascoon.
Hold on.
Um,
Let me double check that. I just gotta.
because like whatever that becomes, that's what it's gonna become for its final stages.
Yep.
While you're looking that up though, let's talk about Beautiful Eye. I think Beautiful Eye. I really like Beautiful Eye. Because it reminds me more of a monarch butterfly, if anything. Um,
All right. Okay, so for some reason, both of my Beautifly and Dust Socks are female, so I don't think that they are.
okay, okay, maybe
Oh, it is
it's
Pokemon Go, so they could make exceptions. But anyway,
so. So for Beautiful Eye, where do you think this should go? I think it should be A.
I'm fine with A. I feel like so I prefer Butterfree's design over Beautifly's, but I love the range of color Beautifly has. I love the extra detail of that nose that can unravel and go back, just like a normal butterfly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it.
Mhm.
What about Dust Tox? Dust Tox is our moth Pokemon.
I want to make the argument for A for Dustox as well. I
Sure. Yeah.
I like the
I
moth.
like yeah, I like these contrasts to these two. I
Yeah.
think I in fact I'm more of a Dust Tox fan than I am a Beautifly fan. Um
Mhm.
Although I'm usually not going out of my way for those because they're early route bug Pokemon, they evolve early, and because of that, they are super weak.
I
But
Makes sense.
yeah, but I really like them in terms of designs. I think they're really cool.
Hmm.
Okay, Lotad. What do you think
So
of Lotad?
I've got a confession to make.
Hmm.
For the longest time, I thought Lotad was one of the starters.
I mean, I wouldn't follow you for that. I mean, this is weird. This is like the very first water and grass type Pokemon, and when people like try to do like their water grass fire trios, um, it's a debate of whether to include this or not because it's both a water and a grass type. And the thing about um starter triangles is that you have to have one be strong or weak to the other
Mm-hmm.
because you got to make that parallel work.
Right.
So it wouldn't necessarily work with this one because uh it's not, while it does well with the fire starter, it's also not weak to the fire starter.
Mm-hmm. Just because of that
And
one.
it's not weak to the fire starter and it's not weak to the grass starter because of how weird its type combo is. But I like that we get a Pokemon based on a lily pad. I think that's really cool.
Yes, I
Um,
I love the design for this.
yeah, so do you want to go B?
I like to make the argument for A for Lotad. I know it's a
I
simple design, but I feel like with how the typing is and for how iconic it is, I like to make the argument for A.
You know what I just realized? He's the Pokemon version of Perry the Platypus.
A Lotad? Very the Lotad?
Yeah, the lily pad
Yep,
is his hat.
yep.
Um, okay, Lombre. Lombre has always been a weird one for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think the change to green is all right, and it does keep the lily pad. But
It
I
does.
don't know. This one always gives me a depressed vibe for me.
I don't know. For me, it looks like an old Western cowboy.
I've never thought about it that way. Um,
I mean, I'd be fine going B, maybe C tier, but it's like a big maybe on the C.
mhm.
I don't know.
I'll
I have a
I'll
soft.
put it I'll put it in B. I'm not particularly fond with the design, but I think it's all right. What's weird about this line though is that it, despite it being a water grass type, it does evolve by stone, and it's a water stone,
Hmm.
which is super weird because it
Yep.
could have like easily evolved through leaf stone too. But
Mm-hmm.
whatever, I don't make the rules. Okay, Ludicolo.
S
I
tier.
think S tier for Ludicolo. Okay.
I
Here's
He is just a happy guy. He's here for the vibes.
mm-hmm. He's here for
Sorry,
the
what was your
vibe.
argument for Ludicolo?
So the thing about this Pokemon, it's kind of similar to Jinx, although not as egregious. Uh, there's like
Mm.
a cultural sensitivity with this Pokemon just based on the fact of how it's designed. Um, but I also really don't care. I mean, the thing about Pokemon designers is that they're not trying to insult anyone with these designs,
No,
at least
they're
not right now, anyways. But when it's the same case with Jinx, where like they're not trying to make something look that creepy. They're just trying things out. They're not trying to be. The thing about Japan is that they don't share some of the same cultural sensitivities that we do,
no. We
and that goes for other countries too. So, but regardless, I think Ludicolo is great. I like him.
I would
C
agree.
dot, C
Yeah.
dot.
I love
Uh,
the design for C dot. I
I
get it's
like
just
it.
what?
I like it.
Yeah. I get it's
I think
just an
it.
acorn, but it's an acorn with eyes and legs.
Mhm. I think this should be B.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. Um, because it is just an acorn, but it is still a cute little acorn.
Hmm.
Nuzleaf. Where does
Um,
Nuzleaf go?
Nuzleaf. So
Because the thing. Go ahead.
I'm conflicted.
Hmm.
So I'm not a huge fan of the design.
I'm not either, but I don't think it's a straight up bad design.
No, it's not a straight up bad design. Um, as well. basing it off of the anime. I I remember one specific episode where I think it was Corfish ended up snipping part of the leaf on Nuzleaf's head,
Mm-hmm.
which caused an entire outbreak of Nuzleafs. And I get that it's part of the body and it probably hurts, but you should
Yeah,
send an army out for a miscommunication.
yeah. Do you would you want to give the C?
I'd be down for C.
Yeah.
So
I'm
Nuzleaf.
only saying that because I really like Shift Tree. I
Mm,
like Shift Tree. I think its inspiration is interesting. So I was quickly looking this up because I know it was inspired by something. So it's based on the Tengu, which is a thing in Japanese folklore. So these are mythological creatures that are considered forest guardians, characterized by long noses, white hair, and the ability to stir up massive winds with magical fans.
mm.
So and I love the white part of its head, kind of looking like a mask a little bit.
Yes.
So I think I would put it at A. There could be arguments for an S.
I'm fine with A.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it has the popularity to make an S tier or make it to S tier.
That's fair. That's fair. It's not the most popular Pokemon out there, but again, I think the inspiration for this design is so strong, uh,
Mm,
and it fits the vibe of being a grass and dark type because that's what its typing is.
right.
All right. Halo. It's just a bird.
It is just a bird. I named mine Jack Sparrow, but it is just a bird.
Yeah. It's a fine looking bird. Um,
There, yeah, but I feel like for that there could have been liberties made.
yeah, could would you want to put this in C?
I'd be fine with putting it in C.
Yeah. Because again, design is not bad, but it's just kind of just kind of. I
It's
do really like Swallow though. I think Swallow's pretty cool. I
Swallow's
mean,
cool,
I
but
mean it is just a big bird,
it is.
but I think it has enough striking design features to either put it at a B or A.
I will say B. I don't think I can give it an A tier just because it is still just a bird.
And these
And
are all still flying to normal types.
I know, I know, but they could have at least like changed the color a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I like that they gave it red talons and put red on its like tail feathers down
Yeah.
there. I think those were very smart design choices.
Mm.
And I think it's really cool. I do think it's better than Wingull.
Mm.
So here's my thing with Wingull. It is based on a seagull.
Mm-hmm.
Seagulls are very common.
Yep.
But I don't think it has enough striking design features to put it up in a higher tier.
It does not.
So I'm thinking either D or C with Wingull.
Um, I'll say D tier.
Yeah.
I
The only thing is that it's a water and flying type, which does make sense, but like, come on.
Yeah, there's a lot more you could have done with it.
Also, it's the most common type of Pokemon that after this generation, that it's the most common encounter. Like in Alola, they're freaking everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Pelipper though, I straight up don't like Pelipper.
I like the design for Pelipper.
I don't. I don't. What I don't like about well, first of all, its eyes. Its eyes are super weird.
The
It's
eyes
like a
are weird.
dividing line. I also don't like how its beak like stretches all the way at the bottom of its body, going up to its tail.
Well, see, that's what I like about it. Because if you look at an actual pelican, like, yeah, when its mouth isn't full, its beak's thin, but it has that stretchy beak where it can extend down lower. And that is what this is incorporating. It's incorporating that stretch that can hold water, fish, maybe small humans if it's that hungry.
Okay,
So
I think you have arguments for it, but where would you want to put this at?
I would say at minimum, I would like to put it at C tier.
Okay, I'm fine with that because I don't know. I don't care about this design because it raises more questions than answers. Again, I like the fact that it's based on a pelican, but I think there could have been better body proportions that they would have made.
Well, you also got
Just
to think about its pre-evolution, where they didn't incorporate enough for the body proportion. So making a logical evolution from that to that, with what they were able to do is a key thing.
Mhm.
Then again, if you look at some of the other Pokemon, they didn't even put any thought in how it evolves with those. So,
Mhm.
but still,
Well, okay. I guess there are fair points to be made. Ralts. I like Ralts.
um,
I think Ralts. It's not a particularly strong design, but I do think it's kind of unique. Um, I would like to at least put it at B. There could be arguments for C.
I'd be fine with putting it at B. I'd say I'd say there could have been a little more to the design, but other than that, it's not too bit or it's not too extreme. It's not extreme. It's not boring. So,
Yeah. I think the whole Ralts line, it's basically the Abra line all over again because they kind of learn similar moves. Also, they're all psychic types. Well, until Gen 6, then it gains the fairy type. So now it's just a psychic and fairy type, which I think is a pretty fitting type duo for uh the Ralts line.
hmm
Curlia. I think Curlia is a little better. I think it's got a
yeah.
couple more striking design features. I like how its hair goes from the bowl cut and then twirls around,
hmm
um, reveals more of its eyes, and it's got a little skirt. It's like a little ballerina.
Yeah. I agree with that. So, I'd say B at minimum, A maximum.
Um, I'd be fine with giving it an
All right.
A. I think it's got enough going for it.
All right, Jake.
Garnet.
I understand you have some biases,
Mhm.
but for this one, for your girlfriend, let's leave the biases out. You don't have to put her on S tier just because
Who says I
she's
do have
getting
a
you.
girlfriend? I don't.
No, I'm saying that Gardevoir's your girlfriend.
Okay, so here's the thing. I was debating about this because I do want to put Gardevoir on S tier, but not for the reasons that. First of all, I don't like the way this Pokemon is perceived now in media. I mean, they straight up made a freaking short of a male trainer having a Gardevoir as like its partner, and that was like the most sustained that I've seen Pokemon put out. Um,
Really?
well, there may be others I'm not thinking about, but it's one of them. It's one of them. But here's the thing. I like Gardevoir because like it's an elegant design. You know, I like the long dress. I think it's Japanese name because like this was before Gallade became a thing in the next generation. So
Hmm.
this could have been either female or male. Its Japanese name translates to Sir Knight.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. But I think it's a very this is one of my go-to Pokemon to use
Mhm.
whenever I'm playing a Gen 3 game. Um I mean sometimes it does get switched out for something else if I want to use something else, but like I really like having Gardevoir in my team. Um
All
but
right.
I say either S or A, but that depends on what you think.
I was gonna say A, but since you mentioned the Sir Knight part, and I can see Gallade and Gardevoir being a Zelda Sheik situation or a Mulan type situation, I'd be fine with S tier.
I've not thought about it that way. I think that will be a conversation for when we get to the next generation. But yeah, I really like Gardevoir. I think it's really cool.
Now,
Um,
just let you know, with how biased you are with this generation, I should be allowed to have a bias for the next generation.
yeah, because Gen 4 is one of your favorites.
And 4 is my favorite.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites too. So like,
Mm.
we'll get to it when we get to it. Until then, we gotta talk about Surskit. This line is interesting because it starts out as a water and bug type, and then in the next one becomes a flying bug type. Which I think it should have still been water bug because that's a pretty cool type combo. When it comes
Mhm.
to Surskit, I like the long legs and it knows ice type moves, and in some of the shows of the anime, it literally skates on the ice
Mhm.
and the water.
No,
Um, and it's
I
really
love,
cute.
yeah, I love the Surskit design. I will make an argument for A tier with it because I get it's a simple design, but it is, I don't know, it is just a visually pleasing design for me. You've
You
got
know, I'm okay. Oh wait, no, wrong one. I'm already. I did not mean to do that. Yes, I am okay with it giving an A tier. I think it's really cool. I've also not really paid attention to the blushes on his cheeks before. I think that's a very cute design detail. Masquerain. I do think Masquerain should be a higher tier because I think it's a visually striking design.
it is a visually striking design. It so Jake, you already know my problem with this because I've expressed this in past rankings.
Do I know? Because I don't think I do.
It is such a drastic change between that and Surskit. Regardless,
I
well, listen,
I guess I do see it.
yeah,
I
but
guess I
regardless, even with it being as drastic as it is, I could see like if a future generation were to make a middle evolution between the two, not saying it's going to because I highly doubt it, but if it were to make a mid evolution, I could understand it. Plus, I love how if you look at it from afar, the wings kind of make it look like an angry face. So because of that, I would be fine throwing it on S tier.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with that. Yeah, I do agree with you that it's a bit of a drastic design change, but I do think the colors really work well for it.
Mhm.
Um, the subtle blue hue with like the orange and dark red, I think is a really cool design feature. All right, Shroomish.
I'm not a big fan of Shroomis's design.
Me neither. I mean, it's cool that it's a mushroom, but
It
like
is.
it's not the cutest looking guy. He's kind of a grumpy looking gremlin.
Mhm.
Um, you think he neither D or C?
I'm gonna say C because there is some redeeming qualities. Like I like how unique it is. I like the green polka dots on it. Plus, it's not a god awful design where I feel like I need to throw up.
Yeah. All right. Breloom. So I know part of the argument that you're probably going to make with this is that it's a very drastic design change. I agree with you. However, I do think it is a better design than Shroomish. And given that the fighting type is really cool too, it's kind of like it's like a little mushroom kangaroo.
Okay. So I want to make the argument of S tier, if not A tier.
Ah,
I've I've got my own personal bias with this one. Again,
you
going
know what? You know what? I'd be I'd be cool with throwing it in S tier.
all right. First off, yes, it is a drastic design, but this one, considering it is one that is improving on what the pre-evolution was by tenfold, I'm okay with that as a drastic
Mhm.
design. I like the design. I like how the little mushroom on top kind of looks like it has extra eyes. I like the little, three round club tail. My bias with this Pokemon comes from Pokemon Go because
Mhm.
almost every time I need a solid fighting team, Breloom is recommended for me to fight with, and it never disappoints. I have taken out so many like heavy hitting Pokemon just with Breloom.
Yeah, I really like Breloom. Because I usually try to go for a grass type, this is probably one of the ones I like to try and strive for. It's not the strongest Pokemon out there, but I do think it has some pretty cool merits to it.
No, no, I think you need to borrow my Breloom. That dude's tank.
All right.
I'm gonna edit
Um,
that. I'm gonna edit that.
that's all right. Uh, Slack off. So these are our sloth Pokemon. Um,
Hmm.
I think Slack off is all right.
I would agree. I like the simple design.
I like the simple design. I do like its like lazy features, but it's
Mhm.
not very striking. That's the
No,
thing.
I will say that's a C tier.
Yeah, I think it's a C tier too. Vigoroth. I like Vigoroth. He's a very energetic looking guy.
Yep. Well, he's been lazy his entire life up to that point. He's got to do something to make up for it.
Yeah, until the next stage where he just becomes lazy again.
Hmm.
All right. But where are you thinking with this one?
I'd be fine with Vigoroth in B tier.
Yeah, I think so too. Um, Now, slacking though. First of all, I love the name. That's a very
Hmm.
clever name.
It is a clever.
Um, I mean, like, it is a lazy Pokemon, but here's the thing: this thing is so strong. So the fifth gym in this region is a normal type gym leader who's also your dad, which is the only time in Pokemon in any of these games where you get to fight with your dad or get to know of your dad in general.
That is true. That's true.
Um, but like he
Oh,
has
hold on. No, you know your dad in the first game. Your dad's Professor Oak. He's been sleeping with your mom.
we're
I
not
know
talking
this.
about that. We're not talking about that theory. That's
What do you mean? It's a
anyway.
proven fact.
Anyways,
Everyone knows. You're as oblivious as ashes.
slacking though. I like how Norman rocks like two of these
Hmm.
and how they have the potential to mess you up. Here's the thing: these they have the same base stat total as a legendary with like 600. But the only reason why it's not considered a legendary is because of its ability being true on, meaning that it attacks every other turn
Mm.
because it's lazy.
So,
But what do you think, Xavier? Because I know there's some counter arguments to this.
so first off, love the design. You know, like I get where it's coming from because it understands. Oh yeah, I can. I can knock your socks off, but you know, I'll let you take the first couple hits. I get that design. And this is again coming from Pokemon Go.
Mhm.
It Slacking is a gym, like a gym defender, and it's not even a good gym defender. Slacking's the Pokemon that I will throw in a gym for the sake of not accidentally fighting with it because it doesn't have a quick move. Like,
Mhm.
you know how you say in your games it attacks every other turn?
Yeah.
Well, with a slacking, because you have to charge up a bigger attack, you
Yeah.
could have maybe, 6, 8 attacks before you get to use your charge attack. And its quick attack is yawn, so it doesn't even do damage. So that drops it down heavily for me.
Okay. So where do you think it goes at?
I would want to make the argument for B tier.
Okay with that. Because
Okay.
like out of the two Pokemon that are similar to each other, I prefer Snorlax. Because here's the thing. Because like both of them have low speed stats,
Yeah,
and
but
both of them have tanks.
Snorlax does better.
Snorlax doesn't have True On. It also has better coverage moves
Hmm
too.
And
Um,
and Snorlax actually got up. That's what you lazy things need to learn.
okay, yeah,
I was about
that
to
that
do something that made me edit again, and I don't want to edit again.
no, that's fine. Um, no, but I really like Slaking though. I think Slaking's pretty cool.
Hmm
Ninkata. Ninkata. This is another branching evolution, except
hmm
it's only like one stage. You either get this guy or this guy.
Yep.
Um, in terms of Ninkata himself, it's all right.
No, I like the Ninkata design.
I mean, I like it. I think it's fine. But I'm not super passionate about it.
Alright.
Where
You
do you
think
think it
this
should
is?
go?
I think it should go B tier. I like the design. I understand that it's not like the best of the best, but I like the design.
Mhm. Yeah. All right, Ninjask. I think Ninjask is pretty cool. I like how
Yes.
it's based on a cicada.
Yep.
Uh, would you want this to be A?
Yes, I would be fine with that being an A tier.
Okay. Yeah. Not that much to it. I just think it's a pretty cool looking Pokemon.
Hmm
Uh, Shijinja. Okay, Shijinja is interesting. This is a bug and ghost type. Uh, it has the gimmick of 1 HP stat,
hmm
which means you could technically kill it in one hit. So I do like the design features of this though. I love the
Yes.
halo on the top of it and like the little like angel wings that it
hmm
has. Um, it's kind of like a dead husk, like how cicadas they come out of the ground and they shed their skins. This is the empty skin.
Okay.
Well, except this one isn't empty because like still has a soul. I think ghost type Pokemon are weird. Um, but what do you think? What do you think about this?
I For the memes, I want to say S tier.
Or S tier?
I
You know
remember,
what? You know what? I'm okay with that.
so I remember in high school, and I don't remember if this was a conversation with you or if it was a conversation with one of my friends who used to play a lot of Pokemon as well, and
Mm-hmm.
actually took part in a couple of big challenges where he won a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, One of us, I remember talking with someone and there being mentioned that there was a rare thing that can happen with a Shedinja. There's a rare thing that could happen with it, Shedinja, but it would have to be in a battle. There's like a specific situation.
Mhm.
Also, I think that design is absolutely fire. I love the fact that it is the husk of a cicada. I love the halo on top.
Yeah, I like it too. Um, it is one of the weakest overall Pokemon,
Mhm.
but there's a gimmick that you could use in the competitive scene where you could use Wonder Guard to block out whole teams with it. Um, so like while it may not win you any battles, like it can help you. It's your support system.
All right.
That's what
Hey,
it is.
yeah. Hey, Jake, can you do me a favor?
Mm-hmm.
Can you press Control minus on your computer?
Control minus.
Yes, Control minus.
Uh oh, okay.
All right, do it one more
One
time.
one more time.
There.
How's this?
That's good. That way we can see the full tier list.
Okay, cool. All right, moving on to Whismer. I think Whisper is pretty cute. I like the little design details that it has.
Mm-hmm. Lismar is
Um,
cute.
do you think it should be B?
I'd be fine with B tier.
Yeah. I like the little ear holes that it has. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's really cool.
Yeah.
Loudred.
Also known as me after a couple drinks.
Yeah,
Uh, I like
I like it.
Eldred's design. I like the stereo ears.
Mm-hmm. I like it too. Um, I'm thinking either A or B with this one.
I'd be fine with A. I like A for that one.
All right. Yeah, I think it's really cool.
Mhm.
Exploud. I like the name.
I do too.
I
I'm
like this.
just
I like the big open mouth that it has.
that, that's cool and all. I just feel like it's too much.
Yeah, there could be some arguments for that. Um, what are you
Plus,
thinking?
between the three evolutions, Exploud's the one where if you were to wake up in the morning and see that hanging up above your head, there'd be some piss in your pants.
It is one of the loudest Pokemon for sure.
Yeah.
Do you think it should be B?
I'd be fine with B tier.
Yeah, yeah, I do agree that it might be a little bit too much. I'm still pretty fond with the design a little bit. Makuhita. I like this guy.
Yeah.
I
He's a
like
cute little guy.
I like this guy. Whenever I get him in a game, I like to nickname him Kung Pao because of Kung Pao Chicken. Um, but what are you thinking with this one?
Um, honestly, I would say either B or A for that one.
I'll go for B,
Okay.
but only because of this guy right here, Hariyama.
Hmm.
I love how big this dude's hands are.
Yeah, they're so big you could pummel a basketball with them.
Yeah. I say either A or S.
See, that was why I was saying Magahita could go A, because then Magahita could go A, and then this one could go S.
Okay,
I feel
I think
like
I see where you're coming from. I'll move Makuhita to A, so that way Hariyama gets an S.
I like the designs. Plus, Hariyama is one of the few Pokemon where you look at it and you wonder, is it wearing clothes or is that part of the skin? I believe
Yeah.
it's clothes.
Hmm.
I believe it's clothes.
Yeah. I like how Brawly, the fighting type gym leader, well, actually, he has a Makuhita, but it would easily evolve into a Hariyama. I think Brawly is interesting because he's a fighting type gym leader, and yet he surfs the waves.
Hmm.
So interesting. We do get actually two water type gym leaders because there's one in Ruby and Sapphire with Wallace, but then he becomes champion in Emerald, replacing Steven, and then Juan becomes the new water type gym leader. We got 2 water type specialists in the same game. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of water types, though, although this is very interesting, we get another baby Pokemon, a new baby Pokemon. This is Azurill. This is
Yep.
not a water type. It's a normal type.
Okay.
When it gains the fairy type, it's a normal and fairy type, which makes no sense. Actually, no. I think it loses the normal type and just becomes a fairy type because a lot of Pokemon that were normal type beforehand replaced that type with the fairy type.
Okay.
But as it stands, I do not understand why this isn't just a water type because it's based off of Meryl and Azurill. Like
Mm.
I will say I like its tail
Yeah.
bouncing like a big bouncy ball. I think that's really cute. And for some reason, for this Pokemon, they always want to give it the saddest expression out there. I mean, like there are some sprites where like it's just, oh, it's happy, it's having a good time, and then other ones it's like, oh, I'm sad. um, I say, what are you thinking?
I I love the design for this one. It is cute. It's lovable. I'd say B tier.
I say B tier. I still think it's unnecessary though, and that's what I think for most baby Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Because like we already had Meryl and Azurill. Why do we need yet another baby form of this thing? Um, Nose Pass. I like how it's based on both a compass and those Easter Island. What do you call them?
The Easter Island heads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I like how it's based on like both of these. I'm not. I like the design. Not super
Mm.
passionate about it, but like I um I'd be fine with giving it a B.
I'd be down for B.
Yeah.
I'd be down for B.
I have I have some things about its evolution when we get to it, but I do like Nose Pass. I think Nose Pass is pretty cool.
All right.
Skitty. I like Skitty.
Skitty's cute.
Yeah, I like Skitty. Where are you thinking for this one?
I wanna I wanna make the argument that Skitty should go to A.
Sure.
It's just a cute little Pokemon. I love the tail design. And it's something that you could take home and keep as a pet without feeling threatened that it's gonna kill you one of these days.
True. Um, Delcatty.
So Delcatty, I get where it's coming from.
Mhm.
I get it. There's just something that seems off about it.
I feel the same way too.
It's like the Trico to Sceptile, where you go from round to pointy. Skitty's more round. This one is a lot more pointy.
Yeah. It's eye change is super interesting too. With like, I mean, it makes sense going from closed eyes to open eyes.
It
Um,
does.
but I don't know because I think the design is all right, and at the same time, I don't really care about it.
Right.
So I'm thinking either B or C, honestly.
I'd say B. I I don't think the design is bad enough to go to C tier, but I'd say
Okay. All right. Yeah. Sableye. So I really like this thing for a
yes.
couple reasons. Uh, so first thing is that it's based off of the Hobgoblin
Hmm.
appearances. Its design is very similar to that. It's I think this is one of the very first Pokemon where it's because of its ghost and dark typing, it does not have any weaknesses.
Okay.
Um, so I think that has merit. It's still a weak Pokemon. It's not that usable. And you can't tell from its design because like it has the jewels on the eyes. But on its body, it has a red gem, a blue gem, and a green gem,
Mm.
signifying the three games that it appears on, which I think is really a really cool design feature.
Oh, I thought it would
Um,
signify fire, grass, and water.
I mean, I guess it could signify that too, but I think it signifies the three games that it appears on, the generation of games that it appears on. And you can't tell it from like the front image, but in the back image, like when you're in the battle, you're able to see those gems.
Hmm.
So I think because of those things, I say minimum of A, but I would like to argue for S.
I would be more than willing to put that on S tier.
Yeah. I just think it's really cool.
It is. It is really cool.
All right. Mall. It's an interesting one.
It is. I'm conflicted because I like it.
Mm-hmm. It's weird how this one's a
I
steel type.
That's why I'm conflicted. I don't understand why it's steel type. I would say because it's got the big mouth, I'm fine with A, but I will understand if it goes to B.
I'll put it in B, but only because of the mouth.
Okay.
Because like again, Mawile is just one of those strangest Pokemon. And it gets a very cool Mega Evolution. One of the strongest, in fact. But it doesn't get an evolution permanent enough for it to be usable. Because it's still like not a very great Pokemon to use.
Right.
Um, yeah, but like it's all right. I don't hate it, but like it's all right. Uh, Aron. I think
I like
Aron
her.
is yeah, I like it. Aron.
Not to be
I almost
confused
want to
with
call it Aaron.
A, no, because that's Aaron.
Aaron, yes. Aaron. This is Aaron. If I ever use this Pokemon in a Gen 3 game, I'll make sure to nickname it Aaron. Um uh I like the blue eyes breaking apart the silver and the dark gray.
Hmm.
Um I think it should be either B or A.
I'm gonna say B tier. I have a
Okay.
specific reason, but in order to talk about B tier, we gotta talk about, or in order to talk about, we gotta talk about the next Pokemon,
Sure. Laron.
Lairon. I love the transition from uh damn it. Now I want to call it Aaron. I understand the transition from Aron to Lairon. I Yeah. It's it gains more spikes, the helmet fuses, and it's an
Mm-hmm.
understandable growth. You can tell
Mm-hmm.
where it came from, you know where it's going, and it makes it look so much better. I want to say that's an A tier.
I think it's an A tier. And my other argument for why it should be A tier is this boy right here.
Yep.
I think Aggron should be deserving of an S tier.
Yes, it
Um,
does.
for I think this is one of those evolutions where like in the case of um like the Nidorans, like
Mm,
Nidoran to Nidorino and Rhina to Nidoking and Nidoqueen, it's
mm.
pretty much a smooth transition. Like the
Yes.
colors don't change, but the body proportions change.
Mm.
Um,
Not only
I
that, but
like
it changes, like the change makes sense.
mhm. I like its bone looking helmet
Hmm.
that it has. I don't think it's made of bones because you know it's steel. But and again, this is I have a thing for kaiju-esque Pokemon, and this is one of them. I think this one could be terrifying to come across in a cave.
Yes.
So
Yes,
I
it will.
I think I think Aggron is very deserving of an S tier.
Hmm.
All right. Metatype.
I love
I
the design.
I think it's all right. Where would you want to put this at?
I would I want to say A. I'm fine if you
Okay.
put it at B.
Yeah. So, I like how both of these are psychic fighting types. That's a
Mhm.
very interesting typing. I think it's really cool.
All right.
Meditate is just one of those dudes that are just training to meditate until they have the chance to fight.
Hmm.
I think it's really cool.
Yeah, it understands it's weak, so it waits until it's stronger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, that's not how strength works, but yeah.
Yeah. Um, but here's the thing. Medicham is Medicham's weird for me
Mm.
when it comes to the body proportions. I don't know. How do you feel about this?
Well, I feel like with where the basis is, it makes sense. I view Meditite and Medicham as monks.
Mm-hmm.
I is one of those monks that, again, meditates, so it doesn't need the baggy clothes. But when it comes to Medicham, I don't know. I've always imagined certain types of monks with those baggy pants, which is where which is where the leg proportions are, at least
Yeah.
are being given the understanding.
Where would you put this at? Because like
I'm gonna say the same thing I said for its pre-evolution. I'm fine with A, but I understand if you put it at B.
I'll put it at B just because like I don't hate the design, but it's really just the legs that I don't care about. Um I understand what they're trying to go for, but like I just think it's a little bit too awkward. Um
Hmm.
all right. Now we get to some of the only electric types in the Hoenn region because they, for some reason, uh, for the past actually maybe like 3 or 4 generations, uh, they they have less new electric and fire types. Fire types especially get hit worse in Hoenn. But electric. I
I'm not,
like the fact that we get electric dog.
it, that's probably the only redeeming quality, other than the fact that it's green. Green's my favorite color.
It's
But
my favorite color too.
yeah, but you got a bias for that one as well.
Yeah, I mean, when your last name is your favorite color, I guess, yeah, good point.
Yeah,
Um, I like how it reminds me of Bolt. You remember Bolt?
I do remember Bolt.
Hmm. I think it should at least get a B,
I'm fine with putting it at a B. I'm fine with it.
unless you want it at A, because I'm also okay with throwing it at A.
I'm gonna say B for this one. Like I said, I'm just not a
Okay,
big fan of the design. Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. Magnetric. Um, I like Magnetric. I like the color change from
Hmm.
green to blue, and I like how it still keeps the yellow.
Yep.
I do see how there could be arguments that it's not as good of a design as Electrike, but what do you think?
I am fine with it going to A tier. I like this better than Electrike.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not a big fan of the Pokemon itself, but design-wise, I am a fan of how it looks.
Yeah. This is actually one of my go-to Pokemon that I like to use in a home playthrough. Mainly because it's the only good electric type to use, and if you want to use a new electric type, you're either doing that or uh Plusle and Minun, which we'll get to those in a minute, but
Mhm.
I like it. I like Manetric. I think it's cool. And you do need an electric type for those games because there's a whole bunch of water Pokemon and flying types. And
Yep.
flying types. Okay, Plusle and Minun. So these are not only Pikachu clones, but they're also a gimmick in terms of demonstrating the double battle mechanic. So as I mentioned previously, uh, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald were the first generation to introduce double battles. Um, Here's the problem that I have with these though. Like, for their gimmick of double battles, they're not usable for a normal playthrough.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because barely in a regular playthrough of a main game are you going to, because there's barely any double battles, at
That's
least for
true.
like the major battles. There's a couple in Hoenn. There's a few, but not as many as you would think they are. They're
Right.
mainly all they would only be usable in the competitive scene, and even then, Plusle and Minun are not great Pokemon. But in terms of design for Pikachu clones, I think they're all right.
Mm-hmm. I will agree with Plusle design. I like the design for Plusle. I love the fact that they're both supposed to represent positive and negative charges.
Mhm.
So
I think whatever Plusle gets, Minun should get as well.
I will disagree with that.
Oh,
With the
okay.
only thing being the tail. If you look at Plusle's tail, there are 4 points, with one of the points
Mm-hmm.
going into Plusle. I know that sounds weird, but you know, you can look at the tail and be like, oh, that's supposed to be a plus sign.
Mm-hmm.
Minen, on the other hand, has, you know, it's got the minus, but
Mm-hmm.
the tail is intersecting it when it should just be an extension of the tail. So instead of it being a minus, it is like a T block from Tetris.
I can see the argument, but I also understand the reason why they went with this. Because if it were just a straight tail, then it'd just be Pichu all over again, but with blue highlights.
Well, no, because Pikachu's got that lightning bolt, and they could have had it where the minus is like that extra extension, kind of like how Slow Bro has the fish biting into the tail, and you could tell the
Mm-hmm.
difference between tail and the fish.
Mm-hmm.
With Minun, you could tell where the minus sign is from the actual tail.
Yeah.
That's my argument for why Minun should be 1 tier lower than Plusle.
So where do you think Plusle should go?
I'd be fine with Plusle being on A tier.
Okay. And then Minun gets a B.
Mm-hmm. It would have
I
been
s-
an A, but you had to have a wonky tail.
I don't think it's that wonky. I
Does
still like both of these. Still like both of these. I think they're
mm-hmm.
pretty cool.
Yep.
Oh, we're getting to these now. So I mentioned the reason for having uh an F tier because we're getting to the point now where in each 16 generation there's going to be some Pokemon I straight up don't like, and these two are the reason why. I do not care for Volpe and Illumise whatsoever.
What? You don't care about them
I
at all? I mean, they got some really cool designs. You could tell they're a little different. They're
but they're
also
so
annoying, and
forgettable. They're so
let me finish.
forgettable
Let me
though.
finish. They're also incredibly annoying, and you can only get one of them on Pokemon Go based on what region you're in. And it is so annoying to try to get both of them that I will agree with throwing those in the F tier. They failed as Pokemon. Way to
Thank
go.
you. Thank you. I don't hear
While we're at it,
anything
we should
about
throw Pikachu in F tier.
Nah, man, Pikachu deserves a way higher tier compared to these disappointments. Cause like these things are so confusing because this is not an evolution. These are like two separate Pokemon. And
Mm-hmm.
they're supposed to be like related to each other. I know there's like other ones that are kind of like that, but these feel so unnecessary. And you don't hear anyone talking about those. They might
No.
as well be some of the most forgettable Pokemon of all time. Um, but like, yeah, I don't want to talk about these. And like, Holland's not a particularly great region when it comes to their bug type selections. There's only a couple that I think are pretty stand out in terms of usability. But when it comes to design, a lot of them are I think are pretty cool. Not these ones though. And
Mm-hmm.
like I get that Volbeat is supposed to be based on like a Firefly, but like it's not a particularly good looking Firefly.
There's supposed to
Um
be fireflies? That's
this
dumb.
this one's supposed to be though because it's got the little light bulb.
That makes no
On
sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't care for these. I don't care for these. They're probably my least favorite Pokemon of all time in this gen.
Hmm.
Um, Roselia. I
Smash.
don't like them.
I'm joking with that one, by the way. I'm
Yeah.
joking with that one. I don't need her thorn to be poking into my back.
Okay. Um. So Roselia, I think Roselia should either get an A or a B because
I'm
like
fine with
it.
A. I love Roselia's design. I like the
Yeah.
two different colors.
Yeah. It's very simple. I like the blue and the red and blue rose.
Hmm.
Um. Kind of reminds me of Team Rocket, where it's like Jesse has the red rose and James got the blue rose.
I didn't even think about that.
It just came to my mind just now, when I'm
Ah.
thinking about it. Um,
Hmm.
but like, yeah, I like that they have different colored roses, and I believe the shiny is handled the same way too, where it's got two different colored roses um, compared to like the one that it's based on.
Hmm. Okay.
Uh, Gulpin and Swallow. So I like that these are kind of poison sac Pokemon. So
Hmm.
these are kind of different from like Grimer and Muck, where those are basically like sludges. These are like poison sacs.
Hmm.
But at the same time, they're not bad, but I don't really care about them that much.
Right.
So
I
where do you think Gulpin goes?
I feel Gulpin could go to D tier. It's whatever. And I would say that Swalot should go to C tier.
I agree.
It's
Like,
got a drastic enough difference.
mm-hmm. Also the kissy face is weird. It's like kissy 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 kissy.
Free kisses.
Yeah. Well, you
Also
probably want
Smash.
those. But I don't think
Again,
those.
as a joke, I do not want to smash that. Jake does though.
Well,
As we move on to the next one.
okay. So we've kind of talked a lot about this already about like Carvana and Sharpedo in particular, but I really like Carvana.
Yes, it
I
is
like
not
that this
just
is,
a fish.
yeah, it's not just a fish, it's based on of piranha, which I think
Yeah,
is pretty cool. Uh I'm thinking either B or A for this one.
I like A for that one.
I'll say A, but only because of this boy,
Yes,
Sharpedo.
Sharpedo deserves the S tier.
It's a shark torpedo. What like that's basic, but like with its design
Yeah, but
too,
it's every little boy's dream. Right next to a dinosaur tank, robots in disguise, um, explosions.
um
Pretty much any
cars and
Michael Bay movie ever.
yeah. But no, I really like it. And the head leader of Team Aqua uses one as his ace, which I think
Hmm.
is pretty cool. Um Moving on, we got Whalmer and Whale Lord. I think Whalmer's fun.
Wilmer is fun.
Um I I want to put it like a volleyball.
I mean, it is a balloon. I'd say Wilmer gets a B tier. I feel like they
Sure.
could have done a little more with the design, but I love the design.
Yeah.
All right. You want to press Control minus one more time?
Sure. I think we're going to be doing this more and more. I
Yep.
know we're going to be doing this a lot in Gen 5 because it's got the largest desk out there. I'll push it one more time.
Okay.
All right. Whale Lord.
Wailord's
So it
A
is
tier.
just a whale. What?
I like it. I would say that's an A tier.
I think it's
And
an
were
A
you
tier
about
too.
to argue that it's just a whale?
I was saying that it's just a whale, but the fact that like it's the biggest Pokemon of all time, it's
Hmm.
at least the heaviest one. And like when you see it in like the 3D games, it's huge.
Yep. Well, not only that, but is if I remember correctly, it's one of those Pokemon with one of the highest defense stats. I don't think it's the highest, but I think it's up there in defense.
Yeah. Well, it'd be competing with Shuckles, since Shuckles got 200 in both physical and special defense.
Yeah, but no one can compete with Shuckle.
Yeah. Don't don't heckle with the Shuckle. Um. Anyways, yeah, I really like Wailord. I think he's pretty cool.
hmm
Uh, Numel. These are fire camel Pokemon. It's got a little hole on the back of it, kind of
hmm
mimicking like a little mini volcano a little bit.
All right.
Um, I'm not a big fan of the color choices being used here,
Um,
but I think it's all right.
hmm
What are you thinking?
I will say Numel. I want to make the argument for C tier for Numel.
I am fine with C tier for Numel, only if we put Camerupt in a higher tier.
Yes, I'm
So
more than fine with that.
yeah, so Camerupt. I really like Camerupt.
hmm
I like the two little mini volcanoes that it has. Much like in Sharpedo, being the ace for Team Aqua, Camerupt is the ace for Team Magma. Uh, and I think that parallel is pretty cool. Um, I'm thinking either B or A for this one.
I'm fine with A for that one. I like Camerupt's look and design.
Yeah, I think it has better color choices too.
Yes.
Um,
So
with the muted red and the orange, not orange, blue circles around it. I think
mhm.
it's all pretty cool.
Yep.
Uh, Torkoal. I really like.
Torkoal. I like Torkoal.
Yeah, I like the noise that it makes in the anime, like Torkoal,
hmm
Torkoal. Um, it's a goof. But I like how it's specifically a fire turtle. I think that's really cool, and I love the smoke that it comes out of its shell and nostrils. I think that's a very cool design detail. Um, I say I would like to make the argument for A.
Don't make the argument. I agree. I like the design. Love the smoke design it has. I like the name.
Yeah, yeah, it's a pretty cool name. I really
Mhm.
like it. I think my other thing with it, it knows poison type moves, which makes me think that it should be a fire and poison type because I think it's specifically called the Smog Pokemon, if I'm not mistaken. I know it learns Smog, um, but I think with the aspect of the design that it has, I think it could have easily been a fire and ghost, not ghost, fire poison type. But either way, I really like it.
Yep.
Uh, Spoink.
Yep.
So I really like Spoink. I
Yeah.
like its springtail, and I like the little psychic ball that it carries on its head.
So Spoink, if I remember correctly, Spoink is a Spoink was one of the Pokemon that when my father got it on Pokemon Go, it
Mm-hmm.
had its own special name. I don't remember what the name was. It was something my sister named for it. But anyway,
Oh,
I like Spoink enough where I feel like it deserves A, if not S tier.
I'd say A tier. I definitely think it's a worthy candidate for S tier. I mean not S tier, A tier. Anyways, we bounce. Woo! A tier. I do not hold that same affection for Spoink like I do for Grumpig.
Okay.
Um, I don't know about what do you think of Grumpig?
Not a big fan of Grumpig. I feel like Grumpig is a B, maybe C tier looking Pokemon.
I think it should be C. I think it's a bit of a downgrade. First of all, like it looks more of a pig than Spoink does. Um, which is like, I mean, sure, I think it should look like it's processed animal, but I don't like how I don't like how it doesn't look psychic type enough because it doesn't
Mhm.
carry like the ball anymore. Well, it does have the balls, but now they're just black and small and you can't really see them. Um, but
Why
yeah,
are you looking at this Pokemon's balls?
I'm just making all sorts of jokes with this particular generation.
Well, this generation's
Um,
really easy to make jokes about.
all right, Spinda.
Hmm.
Spinda's all right. I find it. I didn't know about this, but you could find like hundreds of different variations of Spinda based off of
Hmm.
like their body patterns.
Yep. Well, that was why I was gonna say Spinda gets to go in a higher tier because it's unique. It's got different body patterns. It's
Mm-hmm.
like an ec or it's like how Arbok in different regions has different patterns for the hood, but it's Spinda.
Okay, I think it should at least get a B. Uh,
I'll agree with that.
I like the little squiggle designs. I also like how it like kind of dances like this. It was like this. It's dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Trapinch. I
Crap.
really like Finch. You can find these in the desert route. And I like using this in my team when I can. I think Trapinch and its evolutions are pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like how this starting stage in particular burrows underground at first.
Mm-hmm. I I I agree with I like how Trapinch looks. It's got that little, Sarlacc pit head. I don't know, what would you say Trapinch should be in under
I think it should be B.
B?
Mm-hmm.
I will agree with that.
Mm-hmm. But only because we got its two evolutions to talk about. So Vibrava.
Vibrava. What
So,
can I say about Vibrava?
well, I could make a guess of what you're about to say in the fact that like it has pretty much nothing to do with Trapinch. It's a pretty drastic change.
Well, that too.
Yeah. I do love the green wings and the green eye color though. I think that's really cool.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I don't know. I think it deserves to be in a tier lower. Just because it's a drastic change. And if I remember correctly, when you evolve Trapinch into Vibrava, it's at least in Pokemon Go, its CP goes down.
Okay. Um
I,
I'll put it in C. I mean, I like the design enough. Uh However, I will fight for Flygon being much higher because
I I'm
I
fine,
like
I'm fine
so
with Flygon being higher.
so while we didn't get enough fire or electric types for this generation, this is the generation where we actually get more than one dragon type, and it's not strictly for the stronger ones. I like how we get us a slightly weaker dragon. I like the ground and dragon type with this one. I like how his eyes are like flying goggles, which I think is pretty cool.
Hmm.
I say either A or S for this one.
I'm gonna say A. I wouldn't agree with S, just because I feel like there could be more to it. But, that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense.
Definitely. Alrighty. Uh, Cacnea and Cacturn. What do you got to say about Cacnea?
I like Cacnea. I remember Cacnea in the anime.
I remember him too. He liked to hug James.
Hmm.
Cacnea, get off of me right now. Um, I say, how would you feel about A?
I'm fine with A. I'm fine with Cacnea getting an A.
Mm-hmm. I think it's really cool how both of these are like cactuses. I like Cacturn by the fact that like it's a cactus scarecrow, which I think is a really cool design concept.
Mm-hmm.
But where do you
That.
think it should be at?
Um, I don't know. I don't think it deserves the same tier as Cacnea.
I
I
could
feel
see
like
that.
I feel
I
like
could see
B tier would be solid for it.
Sure, that's fine. It doesn't have its crown anymore, so it's not king.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
doing all right?
Hmm?
You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I phone's trying to update while we're doing this, and it's
Oh yeah, I've had to do that for the past actually I did it a couple weeks ago for my phone. So,
mhm.
yep. I know where that's at.
Yep.
Okay, Swablu and Altaria.
Okay, hear me out. Swablu's
Mhm.
A tier, Altaria's B tier.
Hmm.
It is solely based on the design.
Um, hmm. I would actually think the opposite. I would think Swablu would be in B tier and Altaria in A tier, um but before we get to that, what are your arguments for them?
Well, Swablu, it's a
Mm-hmm.
bird Pokemon. But
Mm-hmm.
unlike certain bird Pokemon where we say it's just a bird, it's not just a bird because the wings are clouds.
It's so fluffy.
It is so fluffy. And plus, it's got a it's got such a unique design that I love the idea of having it at A tier. Meanwhile, with Altaria, I mean, yes, it's still got the cloud, but now it just looks like some or a bird's poking its head out of the clouds. You don't see the wings anymore,
The wings are there. The wings are there in the
but you don't
game.
see them anymore. Again, it just looks
Right?
like something's poking its head out of the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, Altaria's B tier, Swablu's A tier.
I'll make one argument though, and that is Swablu does not have the dragon type like Altaria does. And let me tell you this, Winona has Altaria as its ace, and it's a menace to society. It knows Dragon Dance. If you let it spam Dance for a number of times, this will decimate your team.
Mm,
This is like this is like dragon type in disguise. I mean, sure, it may not look like a dragon, but like I think it's cool that it is a dragon flying type.
hmm
But I I'll be fine with giving it B and then Swablu getting an A.
All right.
I do think Altaria should at least be in the same tier or higher, just because I do like the design, and um I like the dragon type in on it. I think it's cool. Again, this is not a dragon type where it's not a pseudo or a legendary,
hmm
but I think it's really cool. Zigzag Goon. I mean not Zigzag Goon. What am I?
Zangoose.
Zangoose. Yes.
To be
This
fair, it would make a little sense if this were a Zigzagoon evolution.
maybe. I think
Not
the
too
only
much
argument,
sense, but a little sense.
yeah, the only argument for it is just like the red. I think if you replace the red with the brown, I think you could justify it.
Yeah.
Um, this one's always been weird to me because I do think it's cool,
hmm
but I don't think it gets talked about as much, and I don't even think it appears a lot in the modern dexes anymore.
hmm
So,
I,
what do
I
you
will
think?
agree with that one.
So, what
Uh,
do you think?
I'm fine with putting it at B. I'd like to say A tier because I love the design, but at the same time, I understand that it's not popularity wise iconic.
Yeah. In fact, I don't know. This feels too. It feels a little Yu-Gi-Oh-esque to me, a little
It does
bit.
feel a little Yu-Gi-Oh-esque.
Yeah. Which I'm gonna have that same this same argument when we go to like the other generations where I think that argument is more applicable. But like, I
Hmm.
feel like this belongs in a franchise that isn't Pokemon.
Right.
But I still like the design and I think it's cool. Um, so Viper.
But
I really like this. In fact,
hmm.
I sometimes think it's better than Arbok.
Right. I'm I'll agree with that one.
Where do you want to go with this?
I'm fine with Survivor being A tier. I like
Yeah, I like how this one. Apparently, Zangoose and Seviper are supposed to be like enemies to each other.
well
I
yeah,
think
because
that's a bit.
it's a mongoose versus a viper.
Yeah, yeah, but it's a crime to me that this isn't as strong as it should be.
Hmm.
Like, I think it should be stronger, and like I like how it's so cool in the anime, and I was a Seviper. I think it's awesome. Okay, Soul Rock and Lunatone. This is Lunatone. This is Soul Rock.
Hmm. I I like the fact that they are shaped like the sun and the moon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I prefer Soul Rock's sun look more than Lunatone's look.
I do too. I kind of don't like how they share the same typing though. They're both rock psychic.
I don't know. I feel like that's what makes them great. Because what typing would you assume they would have?
Well, of course, because they are. This is weird because there are arguments for like why it should be both rock and psychic types because they're psychedelic rocks at the end of
Mhm.
the day. But at the same time,
Psychedelic, man.
I feel like they should get like a different dual type A. I think the selection of moves that they have
Hmm.
being different from one another, I think is justifying enough. Um,
You know what?
I do like how
You're probably one of those people who would say that Soul Rock should have a dual typing with fire and Lunatone should have a dual typing with water because the moon controls the tides.
maybe. Um, at the end of the day, I like how for the few double battles that we get, that one of them is with a twin set of gym leaders, and their aces are a Soul Rock and a Lunatone, and I think that's really cool.
Right.
Um, so where would you want to go with these?
I'm fine with putting Soul Rock at A. I feel like Lunatone should go B.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I just like the sun design better than the moon design.
East of the sun, west of the moon.
Yep.
All right. Now we're getting so the Hoenn region is infamous for having a lot of water. After all, we get like three water HMs with surf, dive, and waterfall. Um,
Mhm.
and hence we still get a lot of water type Pokemon. In fact, there was this joke for a while because when Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire came out, um, someone gave it a 7.8 or 5 out of 10 on IGN, and they made the argument that like, oh, there's too much water, and people are like, yeah, it's the Hoenn region,
Yeah.
but they didn't specify. What they really meant to say was that there were too much water type Pokemon in that region, and you know what? I'll agree with it. I'll agree with it. I'm not.
Well, see,
I do
that's
like a I do like a lot of the water types in Hoenn. I will say in regards to these next two, Barboach and Witchcast. For Barboach,
so hold on. So what you're saying is you are a Team Aqua support or no, Team Magma supporter. You think there's too much water and you want to make sure there's more land. Is that
No, I'm Team Sky. Go Team Sky.
it?
If you don't know where that comes from, look it up.
Uh,
Barboach.
Barboach. I like Barboach's design. It's
I think it,
unique.
I think it's I think it's all right.
It's not
Uh,
just a fish.
it is not just a fish. Um, I say B or
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with B.
either. Yeah. Wish Cash.
It's just a catfish.
It is just a catfish, but
I don't know. It is a good looking catfish though, so
I say B.
I'll agree with B. I could make an argument for A, but I'm fine with B.
These are also water and ground types, but
Yep.
they don't compare to this water and ground type. This is king. Okay. Uh, Corfish.
Okay,
Corfish.
hold on. Where do we put Nuzleaf again? C tier?
Yeah.
Okay, Corpfish goes as S tier.
Oh,
Just to
Corfish is
continue
S
that
tier.
feud between Nuzleafs and Corpfishes.
I didn't know there was a feud, but
I was talking about it earlier. Remember that episode from the anime where Corpfish.
oh, right. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
All jokes aside, I love the design of Corpfish. It's a nice looking crawdad. Um, I think it's supposed to be a crawdad.
Yeah. I
Plus, it's got the memes.
yeah. I I do like it better than Krabby if we're comparing it
Hmm.
to another crustacean like Pokemon. I
Yes.
do think it should be whatever tier it gets. I think Crawdon should be a tier higher because I like it more.
See, I'd be fine with Crawdon being the same tier. I don't know.
Okay.
The design's a bit much, evolving from Corphish to Crawdon.
Yeah. Well, I like the darker red color. I like the star on its head. I think it's really cool.
I do too, but I feel like it's again just too much added on.
How about this? How about we round it out to an A for both of them?
I'm fine with going them both on A.
Yeah. I also like how Sharpedo is also a water and dark type, but I also like how this one's a water and dark type too. I think it's really cool.
Hmm.
Okay, we get to this generation's fossils. We got Baltoy. Baltoy's mod done.
Well, Baltoy is odd.
But at the same time, that kind of what makes it unique.
Right.
Um, what would you say?
I'd say Baltoy should get a B. I
Sure.
feel like I get where it's coming from. I feel like
Mm.
there could be more with the design.
Well, they do more with the evolution that
Hmm.
it has, and I'll be honest, this thing kind of weirds me out.
Yes. Well, it's got an eye everywhere.
You know what? You know something? We put Ball Toy on B. I say we put Clay Doll in C just to continue it.
I will agree with that.
But also because I'm just not a big fan of Clay Doll.
Neither am I.
I just think it's got too many eyes.
Hmm.
I think it's just kind of weird.
Yep.
Uh, Lileep.
I like Lileep's design. It's
I
really.
do I do like Lileep. I like the evolution Cradily more. So again,
Hmm.
either both of them go in the same tier, but if we want to rank one higher than another, I would like Cradily to be higher.
That's fine. I would be fine with both of them at A tier,
Okay.
because just because I don't think Lileep deserves B tier, but I
Mm-hmm.
also don't think Credilly deserves S tier.
Yeah. Now, one problem with all these fossils that we will see for a while, every one of these fossils has to have the rock type with them, and I don't think that should entirely be the case.
No.
Um, Uh,
Well,
but yeah.
I I don't know. I understand why they have the rock type because they are fossils.
Yeah, but it gets old after a while.
It does get old after a while. I also feel like if the goal is to resurrect some of these Pokemon, they should not have the rock type. They should have
Mhm.
whatever type they would have had pre-death and revival.
Yeah, but that's a problem that we will see in like other generations too.
Hmm.
Okay. Anorith. I think Anorith's all right.
Anorith is all right.
I
Um,
say B.
I'll agree with B.
B for bug because it's a rock bug.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm only saying that because I really like Armaldo.
I'm
I
fine.
think because
Yeah.
Armaldo is just like this strong rock and bug type Pokemon.
Hmm.
I love the design features on this. So I say, would you want to give it A?
I'm fine with giving Armaldo an A.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's really cool. All right, now we get. Oh,
What'd you do?
my bad. I just switched the tiers by accident, but I fixed it. Um. Anyways, yeah, let me. There we go.
Hmm.
Feebas. This is our Magikarp Gyarados comparison, except this one is kind of different.
Hmm.
So Feebas shares similar design features to Magikarp, except to me, Feebas always looks like a very dried up fish.
Hmm. So with me and Feebas,
Mm-hmm.
if I remember correctly, the Pokemon entry said that Phoebus is so ugly
Mm-hmm.
that nobody wants it.
Yeah.
And
It's
as
also hmm?
oh no, I'll let you go.
The other, so one thing I forgot to mention is that this generation introduced Pokemon contests, which
Hmm.
I miss. We would like to have those back, please. I think that's a very cool side feature. But that's because, but one of the things that they had were these contest stats that you can use. So you can make certain Pokeblocks or Poffins in Gen 4 to raise a stat. And for a Feebas to evolve into a Milotic, you have to raise its beauty condition, which is a pain to do, which is a pain to do in this generation. Hence why in Gen 5, they gave it the Prism scale in order for it to evolve into Milotic, making it so it's just a level up thing rather than, oh, feeding it a certain amount of blocks to raise its freaking beauty stat. I
Hmm.
get what they were trying to go for, but like it was a pain to evolve. It's also a very rare Pokemon to find. It's
Yes.
not easy. Um, but I do like some aspects of its design though.
Hmm. So for me, I would like to rank it at A tier. I feel like it is definitely an underappreciated Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it just needs more love, man.
Yeah, well, if you do give him more love, you get this Pokemon right here, which I think is deserving of an S tier.
Yes, I will agree.
Milotic is different from Gyarados.
Hmm.
I think well, Milotic, it's a strong Pokemon. It's still a very strong Pokemon, but rather it being a fierce and tough looking Pokemon like Gyarados, it's
Mm.
elegant. It is beautiful, and
It
it's
is the
worked
yin.
hard for it.
It is the yin to Gyarados' yang.
Yeah, and it's the ace of the Water type gym leader Wallace. He uses one, so
Hmm.
um, but yeah, Milotic is cool. I think it's nice. Okay, so I want to take just this one Pokemon into consideration so that way we can talk about these as a collective.
That's fine.
Because that is the gimmick of this Pokemon, Cast Form. It is
Hmm.
the it is the weather Pokemon. Um, this Pokemon has kind of been clowned on for years because mainly because of the bottom part of the design. Um, And I'll admit, it was interesting. It's an interesting choice, but someone made the argument that those might actually be molecules that it's trying to represent.
Yeah, the I can see the molecules.
Yeah, but these are specifically based off like those weather dolls that Japan has, where it's like
Okay.
the little white balls and they got the stuff around it. Um, but its gimmick is that it changes to different weathers. So if it rains, you get the water type.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if it's hailing, you get the hail form, and if it's sunny, you get the sun form.
Mm-hmm.
It also has a base stat total of 420. Ha 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 ha. It has even 70 stats across the board. I love the challenges where people will play through Emerald or Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire with just a cast form.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been able to do it and pull it off.
Yeah,
Um, I say the only knock with it is that there is no sandstorm form.
that's fine. I
The and I forgot to mention this too. This generation also introduced like weather effects during battle. So like sun,
mm,
sand, hail, rain, whatever. It introduced sandstorm, and yet it does not have a sandstorm form. What is up with that?
I don't
But I
know.
think cast form is a bit unappreciated. I don't know how you feel about it, but I think it's deserving of a higher tier.
I'm fine with giving it a higher tier. I'm not a
Mm-hmm.
big fan of it, but to be fair, I was also the one making an argument that Phoebus gets a higher tier because it's underappreciated. So I'm fine with cast form going to a higher tier as well.
Yeah, I will at least give it an A. It's not my favorite Pokemon, but
Hmm.
I do appreciate aspects of its design. I'm not going to go out my way for it, although you do get a cast form for free at the Weather Observatory at some point in the game. So I think that's really cool. But I love the gimmick of its changing forms based off the weather. I think it's really cool.
Hmm.
Uh, Kecleon. I
Kecleon.
really like Kecleon.
I like Kecleon too. I like how in Pokemon Go, the only way to catch a Kecleon is if you spin certain Pokestops and it happens to be blocking the Pokestop.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember
Yeah,
correctly, this is also either one of, if not the only Pokemon without a shiny form.
it does have a shiny form, but the thing is, it's not that noticeable. And I should actually, I was gonna save that discussion for a later time, but like the alternate color that it introduced in the second generation anime with like the purple color,
Hmm.
that should have been the shiny design. Instead, they went with, well, because of like the way they did shinies back then with like a color palette system before
Right.
they started doing their own colors. It's just the green color with the blue stripe in the middle instead of the red, which
Boo.
I
It's
think it's
like
lame.
it's like how the pink Butterfree in the anime isn't the shiny Butterfree.
Exactly.
Or the
Exactly.
Crystal Onyx in the anime isn't the shiny of an Onyx.
Okay. So but I love its gimmick of like having changed types based off of the move that it's hit with.
Hmm.
Uh, because it's a chameleon.
Yep.
But I think it should be an A.
I'm fine with it being an A tier.
Okay, so we're almost done with the tier list, but Xavier, can we take a short break because I really need to use the bathroom?
Yes, we can. So I'm gonna quickly pause the video. When we come back, we will continue with the tier list. All right, and we're back. And what's our next Pokemon, Jake?
All right, our next Pokemon is Shuppet. I like the name. I like the name. I think this is a little cute ghost type Pokemon.
Yes.
Also, how we get more than one dragon in our first generation. We get more than one ghost type, which is awesome.
I like it.
Um, so, uh, I think Shuppet should either be A or B.
I'm fine with Shuppet being A. I like Shuppet. Shuppet's a
I
cool
like
one.
I like the eyes. I like the eyes.
Yes.
I think the eyes are cool.
Mm.
Um, Now Bayonet though, I think Bayonet should honestly be an S tier.
Mhm.
I love the zipper mouth.
The zipper mouth is cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be fine with it. I'm not
Mhm.
as big of a fan of Bayonet, but I'm fine with it going to S tier.
Would you want it to be the same tier as Shuppet?
I'd be fine with it going to A tier.
Okay, that'll be fine.
Okay.
But I think I really like Bayonet. The whole zipper mouth, and when it gets its mega evolution, it gets a whole bunch of zippers with stuff coming out of its hands. I think
Mm.
it's really cool.
Well,
Dust.
that
Oh,
should be an episode for the Mega Evolutions.
no, definitely, definitely, it will be. Dust Skull.
Okay, Duskull. I like Duskull.
I
I
like how it has one eye on the inside
I
instead of two.
know. I know. So I would be fine A tier with this, if not S tier. I love the little skull mask. I love the little eye. I love how it looks like it's just contemplating something. It's like, what should we do today?
Alrighty. Well, I'll be fine with giving it S tier. I think it's deserving of it.
Thank
Um,
you.
bless
Ah,
you.
thank you.
Alrighty. Dustclops.
Dusclops.
I really like Dustclops.
I like Dusclops too. I don't like it as much as Duskull, but it's an evolution that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. Would you like it to be A?
I'd be fine with it being an A.
Yeah. I love its big hands. Like,
Mm-hmm.
ooh.
Yep.
Um, alrighty. Tropius.
Okay. Ready for my argument about
Mm-hmm.
Trophius.
Mm-hmm.
Trophius reminds me of the Celebi line.
That's an interesting comparison.
Well, it's a leaf type, long neck dinosaur type Pokemon. Albeit, you can tell it's not, but it always makes me think that it was a hidden evolution of Celebi. I will also say that I prefer this more than the evolutions of Celebi, design-wise.
Yeah. Well, Celebi isn't a evolution. It's just a mythical Pokemon. But like,
No, oh wait,
well,
no,
this one
not Celebi.
offers.
What was the? It was not Celebi. The other one.
Hmm.
It was last generation's Pokemon starter, Grass,
Oh, Chikorita?
Chikorita. That's what I meant. It reminds me of the Chikorita line,
Okay.
and I
I guess I
prefer
could see.
this better
I
than.
guess.
Yeah, well, I prefer this more than what we ended up getting for Megania.
Meganium, yeah. No, I agree. I really like this. I like the grass flying type.
Hmm.
Um,
Now, if I could just remember what tier we ended up putting
I think
Megania.
Meganium was a B.
You think Megania was a B? Then I would be fine with putting this one at an A.
Yeah, I'd be fine with giving it an A too. I think it's really cool.
I don't know. I have, or I had certain notes, but my phone is still updating.
Hmm.
So that's where
Okay.
this whole confusion comes in.
Definitely. Chime Mecco. I
I
like how this is a wind chime.
I like how simple it looks.
Hmm.
It looks nice. I'd be fine A or B tier with it.
I'll give it an A, only because I have problems with its pre-evolution that they introduce when we get to it.
Hmm.
Um, Absol.
You give
I
that
like
thing some sunglasses, and it is a star. I'm not kidding. I have an Absol with sunglasses in Pokemon Go, and it just rocks everyone's world.
love the fact that like I love how it's dex entry. It's specifically called the disaster Pokemon in
Mm,
that people thought it causes disasters, but in all actuality it's just people don't understand it.
hmm.
Like he specifically comes when danger is approaching. He doesn't bring the danger, he just warns it.
Yep. Yep. So I would say I'd like for Absol to be an S tier, but
I'm fine with that.
okay, I was gonna say Absol is that cool of a Pokemon.
Absolutely. I think it's cool.
Hmm.
Um Now we get another baby Pokemon. Same with Azrael. We got Why Not.
Hmm.
So similarly with Azrael, I like and don't like this. I like the name.
Yes.
I like the name. I think the name is clever. I like how it's just a little Wobbuffet. I think that's really cool. And I like how its tail is the one eye as opposed to Wobbuffet's two eye tail. I think it's
Mhm.
really cool. But here's the thing: this is just weaker Wobbuffet. It has the same moves, same gimmick. It's just weaker.
Yep. S tier.
You want this to be S tier?
Yes.
Ah.
I
The
want you to
Wob
ask me
the
why.
Wobbuffet the Wobbuffet's an S tier, and I don't think it compares to
Right.
Wobbuffet.
But I want you to ask me why. Go ahead.
Or why not?
You stole my joke from me because you decided you would argue instead of actually asking. That was mean. I am this close to ending the
Here's
recording right now. They won't know how this recording ends.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't like the fact that they keep introducing babies to Pokemon that don't need baby forms to begin with.
I understand that. And I was joking with the S tier for why not. I just wanted
Mm-hmm.
to make a why not joke. You
I
ruined that.
caught on to your joke. Um, so I think I think it should be the same tier as Azrael because I think it holds some of the same reasons as Azrael.
Hmm. I'm
So
fine. I'm fine with it being B tier.
yeah,
I mean,
again, I
I
like it, but it's just unnecessary to me.
hmm. Yeah, I would have also been fine if you had thrown it on C tier, but I understand B tier.
Mm-hmm. Because I don't hate it. I don't hate it, but I still think it's unnecessary to have.
All right, I agree.
Um, Snowrun. I really like Snowrun. I like how it's this little guy that's just bundled up in a blanket.
Hmm.
I think it's really cool. Um, I
I
say
do.
either I say either B or A with this one.
I'm gonna say B,
Okay.
and I've got a specific reason.
Does it have to do with Pokemon Go?
No, no, it's got to do with the next evolution.
Oh,
I
okay.
really, I really loved this design.
You're talking about Glalie?
Yes, I love
Oh,
Glalie design.
you want to throw it in S tier?
I don't like it enough for that.
Oh,
That was
okay.
my big thing. I like it. I just don't think it deserves S tier.
Can we at least put it in A?
I'm fine with playing an A.
Yeah, because I really like this design. This is weird. It's just an ice type, but I think this could have easily been an ice ghost or an ice dark type, especially when you're talking about the evolution that the branch out evolution that it has in Gen 4.
Mhm.
But like and the reason I say that is because it's called the scary face Pokemon.
Mm,
Or I think it's called the face Pokemon. Either way, like yeah, it is literally the face Pokemon. It's got a scary face, but I love the blue eyes and the silver color and the black horns, and I'm just now realizing that it almost has the same color scheme as the Agron line.
Yeah, it does. I didn't think about that until now.
Yeah, and I like the black horns too. Um, but yeah, I just really like it. I think it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Pun not intended, but
To
yeah, but I think it's a cool design. I would like for it to be S tier, but I can understand why it's not.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Spiel.
All right. Spiel's just a good boy.
He is a good boy. I like how he's a low ball.
Yes. I could make the argument of Seal going into S tier, but I feel like Spiel is deserving more of the A tier.
I'd be fine with that. I'd
Mm-hmm.
be fine with that. I like the color scheme of like the dark blue. I think that's really cool.
Yep.
Um, Celio.
I'm kind of mixed on that one.
I will admit I'm mixed on that one too. He's just kind of goofy, especially with his little like whisker mustache that he has.
Yep.
Would you want to throw this in C?
I'd be fine with throwing that at C.
Yeah. I think Celio is it's all right. It's all
Mm-hmm.
right. Walrein. I kind of like Walrein.
I like Walrein too.
I
I don't like it as much as Salient, or I don't like it as much as Feel, but
would you
I
want to would you want to throw this in A or B?
I'd be fine with it going in A.
Mm-hmm. I just like how this it's a big old walrus.
Yes.
Um, and it's a really good Pokemon to use. Really good water and ice type. I think it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Clamperl.
Clamperl. So
Clam.
Clamperl's interesting.
It is interesting, especially when we're talking about these branch evolutions that go along with it too.
Mhm. So on the one hand, I love the fact that it is a pearl in a clam. I love it. My big concern comes with the evolutions because neither of the evolutions make sense for a clam.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Um,
But rather than making the argument against its two evolutions, because it is a split evolution, I want to make the argument for itself.
mhm,
Because it had two options and it decided neither of the options would match. What the
mhm.
heck?
Well, I mean, we already had like a similar thing with like Shelter and Cloister.
Hmm.
So it's not like they couldn't exactly do that again. But it's also different because it's got like a little pearl in its case. Would you want to give this B?
Yeah, I'd be fine with throwing it a B.
Yeah. Because Huntail and Gorbis. This is interesting. It's
So
interesting.
I personally, I would like to throw both of those in A tier. I like how both those look. They both look visibly pleasing, and both
Mm-hmm.
I can tell are in the same line.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I'll put them in A. I do like Gorbis more than Huntail, but like I also really don't care. I'm not shooting for these, but
Mm.
they are at least very interesting water types.
Yep. That plus I
I
can
will say
totally see them being used in a Pokemon themed gender or like gender reveal party.
that is true. I think these are gender evolutions, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
Um, I do care about them more than the next two water types. Relicanth.
Okay. Now, Jake, I
Hmm.
know it's just a fish.
It's a rockfish.
It is a rockfish. But it is such a cool rockfish because it's based off of that. All right, have fun. All right, will do. Bye. So, anyway, it is. the fossil fish. It is that big fish that everyone thinks about when they think of fossil fish. I don't remember the name. It's like a koalaquathal or something like that.
I can't remember.
But regardless, it has it is such a big thing when it comes to fossils in real life. I would like to make the argument of A tier.
Hmm. You know, I don't care about this one, but I could see the argument for it. I don't think it's at the same level as the ones in D and F. It's just that I always forget about this one. Or it's not that I don't forget about it. I will at least remember it because this is like the generation I know very well, along with
Hmm.
like Gen 1 and 2 and a couple of other ones. Um, but it's just like it doesn't really have enough unique features to make it stand out for me. But I'll give it A for the inspirational one.
Okay.
I think there's an argument to be made. Um, I do think when it comes to the other water rock types, like the ones in Kanto, I think those are more memorable than this one.
Hmm.
I'll at least say that. However, I would like to argue for the next one being a lower tier, which is Love Disc.
I'm fine with Love Disc being a lower tier.
Um, because here's my thing with Love Disc. It does not evolve. And then again, neither does Relicanth. But it could have had the opportunity to evolve because they introduced a Pokemon in Gen 5 that's similar to Love Disc in color, and yet it doesn't.
Oh yeah,
It doesn't.
that was the thing that upset me because I caught an Alamomola,
Alola Mola, I think that's
Alomomola.
how it's supposed to.
Well, regardless, I caught one and I'm like, oh cool, it's an evolution for a Love Disc, and then I found out it's not an evolution for a Love Disc. So,
Yeah, I mean that's what you get for being a generation that's trying to be apart from the previous ones. But here's the thing: the only useful thing you could do with a love disc, because it's not that strong and it's just a water type, you could farm heart scales with it. But it's useless because there are other easier ways to get heart scales.
hmm.
So I almost want to put it in F tier, but
No,
I
I'm
also
fine with that.
don't, because like the only thing about it is just like, oh, it's just a little like heart shaped fish. Okay, cool, whatever. It's just a fish.
Yes, it is just a fish.
It is a heart shaped fish, and there are heart shaped fish out there.
I feel
But
like if we were to make uh if we were to make merchandise, it's just a fish with a picture of a Pokemon that's just a fish. That would
Mhm.
be part of our thing.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting to the pseudo legendaries and the legendaries, which there are a lot of. This is the
Hmm.
only generation with two pseudo legendaries, which I think is very interesting. And one of them is not a dragon type, but this one is.
Yep.
Uh, we got Bagon.
Big.
What do you think of Bagon?
I feel like Bagon. It's a cool design. I
Mhm.
feel like they could have done a little more.
I
I
like its text entry about trying to fly.
hmm.
Like it keeps jumping over and over again, just trying to fly.
Yep. I don't know. I would say A tier for Bagon.
Sure, I'm okay with that.
Hmm.
Shogun.
Sheldon. I get it's a drastic design, and I'm not a big fan of the drastic changes,
Mm-hmm.
but I have a soft spot for this one.
Okay.
I feel like this one also deserves A tier. I
Mm-hmm.
I could make an argument for S tier,
Mm-hmm.
but I think we know which of the evolution or which of the members of that family belongs in S tier.
Yeah. Um, I'm not a big fan of Salamence, but I'm okay with putting it in S tier.
I don't know. For me, Salamence is a tank. It
Mm-hmm.
It's another Pokemon that I use in Pokemon Go that just messes people up.
It's Drake's ace in the Elite Four.
Hmm.
Yeah. But I will say, comparing it to the other pseudo legendary line, I think this one is way more superior. We got Beldum.
Oh.
Where do you want to put Beldum at?
I think that Beldum gets a leg up just for being a leg. So I'd say A tier.
Oh, there we go. It's A tier. Yeah, I think its design is pretty unique.
Yep.
Metane, I think
Take.
Metane should also get an A.
Yeah, Metang's another one that I could make an argument for S tier, but I'm
Mhm.
fine with Metang being A.
Well, here's the thing. You combine two Beldum together, it makes a Metane. You combine two Metane together, you get Metagross, and
Mhm.
Metagross is an S tier.
Yes,
And much like
Metagross is S.
Swampert, it is one of my favorite Pokemon out there. And this is actually my brother's number one Pokemon in particular.
Mhm.
It's also Steven Stone's ace, which I think is awesome. I like how this is basically a very smart walking supercomputer.
Hmm.
I think it's pretty much a transformer if you really think about it.
Yeah, pretty much. Well,
Mm-hmm.
isn't this one also have four brains because
Yeah, I think
it's
that's
technically four Beldums mixed together.
mm-hmm. But I think this is an absolute unit. If I were to ever use a pseudo on a team, it would be this one. Except both of these are really hard to get because they're very rare.
That's
Um,
fair.
and you know, because they're pseudos, they take a while to evolve. But I really like Metagross. I will at least use one in a competitive team, and I think
Right.
that's cool. All right, let's rank the Reggies. I like how we call them the Reggies.
Yep, let's get through the Reggies.
Yeah. Um, I really like this elemental trio. I like the concept of like having different trios in general for each generation. I like specifically the way you're able to discover these in the Hoenn games. You have to figure out a braille puzzle,
Well, yeah, because
which
their heads are braille.
yeah, yeah, except you can like feel it because you know it's with the screen, but you have to like picture it out. Which I think that for the people that were able to figure it out back then, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool thing. Um, but Regirock, what do you think of Regirock?
I like Regirock.
Yeah.
I think of the three, it's like the middle child for me. You know, not necessarily the my favorite looking one, not my least favorite looking one, but it's pretty cool. I will I'd be fine with A.
Hey, all right. Yeah. Also, it's also another candidate of meme status because of
Hmm. Yep.
I love the sounds that the Reggies make in the anime. I think it's funny. Regice. I think Regice.
Regice is I like Regice. I like the
Mm-hmm.
design.
Mm-hmm.
That one would be my favorite of the three. I would still stick with A for it.
Yeah, I think so too. It is just a block of ice, but I think it has enough unique proportions to make it stand out.
Hmm.
Um, I like Regirock, but I also really like Registeel. So where does Registeel go?
See, Registale's my least favorite of the three. Oh, the other two have more like like it's kind of like the Porygon line. I prefer Porygon more with its edges rather than
Mhm.
with its curves. Yeah. So
I
those
like
would
to hear
fit.
you say that on a date.
No, I'd rather not get slapped. Thank you. Uh
Okay.
Also
I'm okay with
I'm not saying I like my woman like I like my Pokemon.
Okay.
Um,
I still think Registeel should at least get a B.
I'd be fine with a B. Honestly, if you were to make an argument for A, I'd be fine with him going to A. But yeah, like I said, he.
I mean, I don't have that much arguments because, like, really,
Mhm.
this whole trio kind of like balances out one another.
All right.
I don't think because you discover them the same way. They're just in different caves
Hmm.
in the Hoenn region, which I think is pretty cool. Okay, the Latias, and Latios. I think the red one is Latios and then the blue one is Latias. But they're both Eon Pokemon. They're twins.
Yeah.
Um, I think they're very fun. I think they're very fun designs.
Yeah.
I like how in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, as soon as you require the Mega Stone and the Eon Flute, you can take off with one and fly around the whole region with it without using
Mhm.
the HM Fly. That is
Yeah.
awesome. That is cool.
Yeah. Um, honestly, I'd be fine. Oh, these two would also be an A tier for me. They're
Sure.
they're really cool. I just don't think that they're the ones that deserve S tier.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Hmm.
Um, I now we get to our box art legends with Kyogre.
Hmm.
I really like Kyogre. He
Yep.
reminds me of like a blue killer whale.
Yep. S tier. I
Uh,
I'm I'm gonna go all out and say Kyogre is S tier.
okay, I was gonna put it in an A tier because like Kyogre is kind of like my least favorite one of like the three box art legends, but I really like Kyogre, and I'm only saying that because like I grew up with Ruby.
Hmm.
So I prefer Groudon, which speaking of which, I think Groudon should be S tier.
Yes, I would agree. Groudon's my least favorite, but Groudon is still a really cool Pokemon. It deserves S tier as well.
Yeah, I really think it should have been Ground Fire though, and it does
Mhm.
become that when it has its primal form.
All right.
Um, but yeah, I really like Groudon. I think both of these are absolute titans. But
Mhm.
the true S tier,
It's Ray Ray.
yeah, it's Ray Ray,
Yep.
Rayquaza. There's a debate of how its name is actually supposed to be pronounced because for a long time, I've always pronounced it as Rayquaza, but I
Hmm.
think it's supposed to be pronounced Rayquaza.
I still call it Rayquaza.
Yeah, I still like calling it Rayquaza. Either way, S tier.
Yep.
This is again much like Metagross and Swampert. This is one of my favorite Pokemon. This is probably my favorite legendary of all time because it's a green serpent dragon
Yes.
and it's basically the leader of these two, where
Mhm.
like Groudon is fighting for the land and Kyogre's fighting for the water, and then Rayquaza comes down and is like, "Would you two shut up already?"
Hmm. Yes. And if you want a Pokemon to disrespect anyone, it would be Rayquaza.
Mm-hmm.
If you gave it the opportunity, Rayquaza would disrespect Arceus.
Alrighty.
But that's very
We're
different.
down. We're down to our last two now.
Hmm.
Jirachi and Deoxys.
Yep.
So I really like Jirachi. I like the fact that like it's like this genie Pokemon
Hmm.
without being like inspired by a genie.
All right.
Like the only thing is just like it makes wishes and it only does it every 1,000 years and it's put to sleep. My only knock against it, it's much like in the case of Celebi. The only way you could get a Jirachi is by importing it from the GameCube game Pokemon channel.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, I think that's only an exclusive thing in certain territories. But like, I don't like the way that they distribute these mythicals or these legendaries. I think it's dumb. Um,
That's fair. I don't
but
know.
what do you think of Jirachi?
For me personally, with Jirachi,
Mm-hmm.
I would go. I'd go B tier, maybe as high as A tier.
Uh,
I'm leaving it up to you. I
I'll
know
put
it's
it
not
in
an
A.
S tier.
Yeah, I don't think it's S tier. I'll put it in A. I like the tassels. I like the star-shaped hat. I think the only weird thing is that it does have that eye in the middle, which is closed in its art, but it does open. I think that's kind of weird. But other than that, I think it's pretty cute.
Yep.
Our last one, Deoxys. I want to argue for S tier for
Go
this one.
ahead, put it in S tier. I would have been perfectly fine throwing it in S tier as well.
I like how Rayquaza and Deoxys are kind of like this. They have this battle with each other in space in the
Hmm.
games. I think it's really cool. Deoxys is such a weird Pokemon because like it comes from space. It's like this DNA Pokemon where it kind of stretches and morphs into each other. It also has these three forms that are based on attack, defense, and speed, which I think is very cool. Um, it just feels so otherworldly. And again, it's you can't get this Pokemon without getting like the Eon ticket, which the only way to get that in Gen 3 was getting one of those Pokemon e-reader cards and getting like the Eon ticket for that, and then getting the Battle Deoxys.
Right.
And it comes in the form of a triangle at first,
Mm.
which is really
What's up with
cool.
Nintendo and triangles?
No, I mean we got the Triforce, we
Mhm.
got that's probably the only one that I could think of this, but
Yeah, honestly, I didn't think of that through. I thought
all
this and that.
right.
Uh,
But with that, we are done
all
with
right. Yep.
we
And
are
that
done
leaves us
with
with 24 Pokemon on the S tier. You got 58 Pokemon on the A tier, 37 Pokemon on the B tier, 11 Pokemon in the C tier, 2 Pokemon in the D tier, and 3 Pokemon in the F tier, leaving our overall total 4 tiers. 61 S tier Pokemon in total, 141 A tier Pokemon, 129 B tier Pokemon, 43 C tier Pokemon, 10 D tier Pokemon, and 3 F tier Pokemon.
that sounds pretty good. Um, but like yeah, I really like. We're being super biased. I mean, all of this is based on our opinions, but like for me,
Yep.
this is just my favorite generation of Pokemon. For me, it has the best starters. It has the best legendaries. It has
Hmm.
some of the weirdest forms of Pokemon out there. Not all of them pay off, but in the case of this tier list today, I think most of them hit the spot pretty well.
Yeah. And honestly, this is our first tier list where A tier is our highest tier instead of B tier.
Yeah, that's pretty telling. I would
Yeah.
like to do our trend of looking at the community rankings real quick because I want to see what
Hmm.
how comparable it is.
Yep.
So they took all the forms into consideration too, which
They.
I like to combine those overall when I can,
Hmm.
because it is part of the design. Um, but someone agreed that the boy deserves S tier at
Yep.
this point. I think that's pretty cool. Um, someone didn't like Blaziken enough for it to be S tier,
Well, there's
which
a lot of
again,
Pokemon in A tier that we put in S tier.
yeah. The B tier is like much wider than the A tier,
Yes.
which I think is very interesting.
Hmm.
Um, I'm trying to see where someone put Plusle in C tier. That's interesting.
I'm trying to find mine in.
And to show how people really don't like cast form, not only is cast form in D tier, but its two forms are as well.
Hmm. Is it just me, or can we not see mine in on this?
Minun is in B tier, which
B
I
tier.
think is interesting.
That person's wrong. It's all because of the tail. They didn't take the tail into consideration.
Well, if anything, I think both of them should be in the same tier because it's like they're the same thing. They just got plus and minus in different colors. Um,
I don't know.
yeah, but like, there isn't too much of a difference. I mean there is much of a difference, but like, you know, I think it's a lot of like hyper specific stuff to take into consideration.
Yep.
But I just think, oh, too far back.
Oh no. Oh no. Now we can look at your search history.
My search history is not that interesting. But no, I think our list is pretty balanced out over there.
Yeah, I'd say it
Um,
was.
yeah. But will this stay balanced when we get to other generations? Who knows?
Hmm. But that is a topic for a different episode. I
Hmm.
believe this wraps up this episode, Jake. So you wanna,
Yep,
since you were the one who brought us in, you wanna take us out?
sure.
All right.
Well, with that being said, this is the conclusion of our Pokemon Gen 3 tier list. The next time we get back into this, which may be quite a while, we'll go into Gen 4, which is Xavier's favorite generation. It's one of my
Mhm.
favorites too. So I look forward to that one when we get to it. So with that, I'm Jacob Green,
I'm Xavier Dean.
and we wish you all a very lovely day. And we hope you aren't by an ocean that is a 7.5 out of 10.
All right.